Well, Pacelli and Boomer, they're grizzled and gray, talking about Star Wars from back in the day. Got a talk show called Geeky Geezers, it's true, spinning old tales about the stuff they went through. From Atari to Shrek, they know every line. Geeky Geezers, man, they're feeling just fine. Late Savvy's got a lightsaber, swings it with pride. Boomer's got a game but plays it deep in the night. They're ranting about He-Man and old X-Men too. On Geeky Geezers, they're the nerdiest crew, talking Transformers toys that twist and they turn, singing blues for the geek life, their hearts still burn. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the seams. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're sitting in the studio, mics turned up loud, reminiscing about Super Friends, feeling so proud. Pacelli loves Spider-Man, Boomer's for Hulk. They argue about Star Trek with passionate both. From Betamax tapes to their old D20s, Geeky Geezers where the nostalgia flows. They got fans in the chat, from the young to the old, tuning in to hear stories that never get told. Talking Ghostbusters, Proton Packs, toys in the box, and Saturday mornings with cartoons that rocks. Pacelli and Boomer, they're keeping it real. Geeky Geezers with that old school feel. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're singing the blues for the games that they play, for the VHS tapes and the arcades that pray. But the spirits are young, though their hair's turning white. Geeky Geezers keep the nerd fire alight, so tune in each week to the Geeky Geezers show, where Pacelli and Boomer let the good times flow. From X-Files to X-Men, they're dropping the news, singing praises of geek life with them old blues. Pacelli and Boomer, forever they'll be Geeky Geezers living wild and free.
Hello.
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 Hello. Oh, we didn't do NSYNC. I screwed
Oh,
that up.
okay, yeah.
Never mind. Hi, welcome everybody to Geeky
We're like
Geezers.
Three Stooges, aren't we?
It's okay. I don't, like I said, for all I know, that's copyrighted anyway. And we've got
It could be.
How
Could
old
be.
are the Stooges at this point? Oh, I'm waiting for the horror movie based on the Three Stooges.
Oh, actually, that could actually be really good. You think about it. Think about it. Their slapstick lends itself to, like, very violent, like, horror, right?
Or the Little Rascals, you know? They could just go around like you know.
Children of the Corn type rascals.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but welcome everybody. First is Sergeant Giratina.
Yeah.
I think I've seen you here before, but welcome.
Oh yeah, Sergeant Giratina is on my channel a lot.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
welcome.
he's-
Yes, we are
Good
simulcasting.
people.
But yes. Anyway, I'm your host, Agent Boomer. This is my co-host, Pacelli. And
Hello,
of
hello.
course, Netter of Netters Network is here as well, our Geezette. So welcome.
He's that exactly right.
And we're going to talk about I think we have a special good old days, and it kind of surprises me we've never done this subject before.
Yeah, I know, but you know, sometimes something comes along and you just got to go. We got to talk about it now.
But here's Big Al. Have a great show, Geezers. Hope everyone enjoys and has a great week ahead. Well,
Absolutely.
here's hoping.
Absolutely.
Just kind of got to get through it. Carnarvon, Carnarvon Fedora logo mumbler, yes.
Absolutely.
By the way,
you
we are
remember JPRPH1. Thank you so much, my friend.
We are going to have a very special last call this Friday. It's going to be a bit spooky. That's all I'm going to say. All right, we're going to
As you expect this time.
going to be doing some digging, and we're going to find maybe stories no one's heard on a YouTube channel before. You never know. JPRPH1.
Possibly.
I think I already said that. Netter of Netters Network. Of course, you're here in the studio as well.
Yep.
Let me see. And of course, yes, let's not forget about the last call membership drive. $1.99
Yes.
a month gives membership. And of course, membership has its privileges. And you can also gift memberships on last
So
call.
they decided they wanted to watch for Members Night of the Movie tomorrow night, Halloween from 1978. And if you miss it on Members Night of the Movies, you can always catch it on Friday evening over on Big Al Presents.
Well, it's better than the Rob Zombie version.
Yeah, all right.
The Rob
There
Zombie
you go.
version's so weird, and it's weird. What's weird about it is has some of my favorite actors are in it. Like it has, what is it? Is it John Forsythe or William Forsythe? John Forsythe, the one who played Al Capone on the Untouchables TV show. He's in it as Michael Myers' dad, and then you have Malcolm McDowell, who I thought was a good choice for Dr. Loomis if you're going to pick another actor. Yeah, but I don't know.
I don't think I ever saw it, but let me take a look. So
probably
it's
skip it.
2018, right?
Yes. Zootopia, welcome. I like the actors who played Laurie Strode in it. In fact, it almost had a 70s vibe.
That's not the one I was thinking of. It wasn't the 2018 See, there was like 3 movies called Halloween.
The 2018 one was what we call a requel. That's what Scream was
Yeah.
making fun of when they did their requel, because it's like it's a reboot and a sequel. You know, kind of like Tron Legacy.
2007 one. Rob, yeah, it was 2007 with Rob Zombie. Oh, for F's sake. My gosh.
Hell chat, yes. I'm
Oh yeah, Malcolm McDowell, Dr. Sam Loomis. That's actually great casting.
good cat. Yeah,
Brad
thought so,
Dourif
too.
as Sheriff Brackett.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was some good casting in it.
It's a
I don't know.
shame because I'm looking at this going, wow, great cast.
You know what?
Richard Lynch as Principal Chambers. My gosh. Danny Trejo.
You know what? Don't take my word for it. Watch it yourself and see what you think. You might like it.
Yeah, it's probably
Okay, because I think it has its fans. So it just didn't do it for me. But I know other horror fans like it, and that's the thing about being a horror fan. Tastes differ. For instance, I love Halloween 3, though I know some horror fans were like, "Where is Michael Myers?" when they saw that movie. They were like, "I paid to see a Halloween movie, and it's got the dude from RoboCop talking about Waddles and Clay and the salmon." Salwin, I should say, right? That's what they called it in Ireland, right?
Salwin, yeah.
Back, I guess, when the Druids ran things, right?
I guess.
Because they stole a piece of Stonehenge. Welcome, Zootopia. Whenever I see that piece of Stonehenge in Halloween 3, I think of the Spinal Tap song, Stonehenge, where the Banshees.
Have they released the sequel yet? I hadn't seen it.
They did. It kind of came and went in theaters. I meant to see it. I
that's
couldn't
too
see it
bad.
opening weekend. I had a paper due, and then subsequent weekend, I think it just was not there. It was just
Too bad.
well, I should have made time, but you know.
Yeah.
Suzanne, welcome. Suzanne.
Yes, welcome. Good to see you. You said I had Lynn Green, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it should be a catchy name, like instead of Susan Summers, Suzanne Sumner or something. You know, like
There you go.
Anyway, but welcome here, Halloween night, 8 p.m. on Films at Friends, Halloween 1978.
Yep.
Okay, so well, there you go. Welcome everybody to Geeky Geezers. I guess we should now. Normally, we always start out these streams. If anyone is here for the first time, we like to talk about the good old days, to kind of reminisce before we get into the modern news of pop culture, which can be more miss than hit these days. But I'm going to get into it, and we're just going to get to it. We're going to talk about movie posters.
I'll tell you, like you said earlier, I'm kind of surprised we've never talked about this before.
I think we've talked about movies, and I would always show the poster, like when we do our summer of '85.
True,
or like
true.
Movies.
Yeah, that's true.
And we would probably mention the posters, but never specifically the posters. And I figured I'd start out with, of course, a Star Wars poster.
And here's okay, so this is a great poster. Mm-hmm. This was the early, teaser poster. This was before they changed the title to Return of the Jedi. They were calling it Revenge of the Jedi. Now, look, there is actually a lot of merchandise out there that came out under the Revenge of the Jedi branding. It's not as uncommon as people think it is. This poster actually has a little bit of, I don't know if you'd call it controversy, but early fan nitpick, because you'll notice that the color scheme of lightsabers is reversed. Vader has a blue lightsaber, and Luke's has a pinkish red hue. and that's an artifact of the painting scheme that was used. You could see it's interesting because the background. I don't know how that's done. I don't know if that's airbrush or how it's done, but it's like a blue and red, and it blends into the blades, which is really cool. But yeah, in a reverse hue, and fans talked about it, and yeah, it is what it is. It's still classic.
Nothing new under the sun with fans nitpicking things. Anyway, but this of course was hand painted, and that's the main reason I want to talk about. In the old days, posters used to be painted. We didn't get like the stock. I don't want to be crude and say like photoshopped images. And to be fair, there have been some photographic posters which I think look nice. Like the Batman Returns poster was used real images, but I thought it was a nice looking poster.
I am not going to say that you can't use Photoshop to touch things up, rearrange things, whatever. But there's something to be said for, that Darth Vader's helmet, right, could very easily have been done through desaturation and pixelation and all that kind of stuff, and then adding the red hue. You could do that in Photoshop. That's not how it was done. This was literally done by hand. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you that I used to be a subscriber to the Intergalactic Trading Company catalog, and I think you also used to get this, didn't you?
I believe so, yeah.
And I remember one of the catalogs said, "We have some Revenge of the Jedi posters if anybody wants some," and I'm like, no, I'm not picking that up. It's not even the title of the movie. And not realizing now that that's probably a highly sought-after collectible now, isn't it? Having one of these
possibly.
The Jedi posters.
Possibly true. Yeah.
Oh, well, I was, 12 at the time? Maybe not even that. Probably 10. That's probably more accurate. So what did I know then? Anyway, moving on, though, I think of movie posters. I think of Indiana Jones. Look at this Temple of Doom poster. Look at everything going on in this image.
Yep. Yeah,
and of course you have Kate Capshaw, which I don't have a problem with.
No, absolutely not. And this is this poster kind of tells the audience. It lets you know, it was PG, but it was letting you know that it's PG, but parents, maybe there's some stuff here you might not be too keen on the kids seeing,
It's called the Temple of Doom.
Of Doom, yeah.
What do you think is going on there? There's some devil worshiping.
There's some real doom being portrayed here for sure. And I was recently analogizing. I said that movie posters were kind of like book covers, right?
Yes.
This was your cover art for the story. In fact,
better too back in the day.
Book covers were often done in this same style.
Yes,
so,
you're right.
I mean, you're kind of literal about it, but
video game covers to an extent too. Everyone did this hand drawn stuff. I don't know why they with this.
And about this specific poster. I was talking about an interview where Harrison Ford was talking about this, and he's like, "Yeah, I gotta say, really made me look good. I gotta say, that makes me feel pretty good. I never looked that good, but I'm glad I looked that good on the poster."
Oh my goodness, he filters anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's also kind of a little humble, self-deprecating too, but it's like, and it's true. A lot of people have said that sometimes the artwork is a little bit idealized, right?
That's true.
I mean, think back to the original Star Wars poster, which didn't look they hadn't even cast it yet.
Yeah, with the busty Princess Leia and Luke showing off his abs and whatnot,
Exactly. And well, interestingly enough, when in 1997, when the Power of the Force figures first started coming out with the super buff, Luke Skywalker with the open chest, I'm like, well, there you go. We finally got an action figure of the character from the poster.
From the original poster, yeah. Let's see. Bob Peake and Drew Struzan were the two most influential one-sheet posters since mid-1960 on. I wonder if Bob Peake, because there's another post for Temple of Doom which I actually prefer to this one. Even it's the one where he's standing just with the does he have a sword in his hand, like a machete, and like the whip in the other hand, and like you see the
Oh,
vines
yeah,
crawling over
maybe.
the columns, and I'm like, that is so foreboding, and it's not as busy as this poster, but I like that one
Right.
also. And of course, that summer we also had the Star Trek 3 poster, which I loved, which was you had kind of this weird silhouette of Spock, like almost done like with laser light,
Oh, that's
and then you had
right.
the
Yeah, yeah,
Enterprise up
yeah.
in the one corner and the Klingon bird of prey down at the bottom. I love that
Right.
poster too. Yes. But moving on, though, Indiana Jones big on. Here's another Indiana Jones poster, classic Last Crusade. I remember we used to have a
And this
copy of this
one,
in my
this
basement. Yeah.
one, so it's got that retro style,
Yep.
which really evokes the pulp movies that, let's face it, Indiana Jones was meant to homage, right?
Yeah, and look at this. You got everyone on here. You got Dr. Jones as his father.
Yeah.
The Austrian babe at the bottom left there,
Oh
and of
yeah.
course the
Oh yeah.
Yahtzee guy in the bottom right, and then you have, of course, Sala and Brody. I mean, this just tells you. This has everything you want to know, and it says movie posters are exactly the book covers of movies, especially back in the day in the world with no television commercials. The movie poster is what sold the movie. In many respects, yes, it did, and these
Yeah.
were cool little collectibles. And again, these can now fetch a high price now, but
I would also say too that sometimes movie posters sold you a bill of goods, right? Because you would go to see the movie thinking it's one thing because of the way it's portrayed, and then you
yeah.
realize it's something else absolutely entirely.
Oh, that was looking at also at the VHS box art in the mom pop video store. You're
True.
seeing this
True.
amazing stuff, and then oh wow, this is not what the cover portrayed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, but of course, I think this movie delivers on the poster. You got adventure, and I like the Sandy scheme going on here. Yeah, this is '89 when I think they were. I don't want to say they were completely phasing them out. I mean, I won't say they've ever been completely phased out because once in a while you do see posters in this style, but they really did kind of move more toward the photo photorealistic things instead, which again I don't like as much, but I'm not going to say they're all bad. Back to the Future again. This you could have done this poster just with Michael J. Fox, and photography, and just taken a clip of it, put that on the poster. But they didn't do that. This is also
Right.
hand painted,
And
and yeah.
the other thing too is this is how you get something that's not actually a scene from the movie. I mean, look at the overlaying here. You've got the kid getting out of the car, right?
Yep.
With this burst of light coming out of it.
Yep.
There's nothing in the movie that's, quite like that. You've got the streaks of fire that probably is at the wrong angle for the car, but
Yes.
and you probably wouldn't want to be standing in that streak of flame. Although there is that scene the first time when it shoots right through him, and he turns and he looks, and he's literally standing in the fire. But you can see it's like a double exposure type of thing. The actor isn't actually there, so I guess this is evocative of that scene in a way. And then what? Looking at his watch. Right, you could almost hear him saying "heavy," right? That repeated line. But looking at his watch, why? Because it's a time travel movie.
Of course, and yeah, and I mean, it evokes the movie. I feel, at least if you've seen it, and even if you haven't, I think it piques your interest, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And let me see. But Jessica Hardo, we table
We're
that.
getting there.
Table that for
Put
later.
a pin in that. Yeah.
Put a pin in that. Laugh out loud. Back to the Future musical is better than the movie. I'm joking, y'all. I've not seen the musical. I will say this: Robert Zemeckis is always being bugged by the studio to do a sequel or a remake or whatever, and Zemeckis says no. However, he said if they wanted him to direct a adaptation of the musical, he would do that. But they don't. They said no, and there's like these guys don't know anything. They don't know what people want. Okay, that's what he said. So,
I'll tell you what.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, and that tells him everything he needs to know.
Because he
about
would have
why
come back.
did-
He would have actually come back
Yeah.
and done for an adaptation of the musical. Because he must have
How
liked the
cool
musical.
would that be? If Zemeckis was behind it, I'd
Yeah.
say, all right.
I-
Because let's face it, a musical just sounds stupid to me. But you get Zemeckis in on it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe, sure.
Did you know they made an off-Broadway musical out of The Last Starfighter?
I think I had heard about that.
Maybe we talked about that here. I don't know. Meanwhile, Wicked is making back.
Also, another movie with a great movie poster.
with Skeletor. Oh, funny. Anyway, we'll get to this later. Let's move. Yeah, Last Starfighter has a great movie
Oh
poster. The
gosh.
Thing, creepy, and what's weird about this is it doesn't even tell you hardly anything, right?
Because at the time that the poster was being done, there was no idea what the creature was, what it looked like, none of that. So you get this, and you're like, then after you've seen the movie, you go back, you go, oh, I get it. What do you
what
get?
they were doing.
The artist had no idea. He was just winging it.
You have someone in a snowsuit, which meant to be for many of the characters who wore outfits like that when they were out, in the Arctic
Yeah.
trying to traverse.
Yeah.
And then you just see light coming out of it. And I'm telling you, it's weird. But it's a great poster, and again, hand painted. Sticking with the John Carpenter, we have Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
That's a busy poster, admit it. That's
So
got a
here
lot
is
going
another
on.
one that is not there. Not a single one of those shots is actually a scene from the movie. So if you didn't have an artist rendition, you would never have gotten these particular poses. Kim Cattrall does not at no time is in that pose in that movie. But boy, it gets your attention, doesn't it?
Perhaps she should have been. I'm just saying.
And same with him. He's looking pretty good there too. Nope. At no point.
But that's the thing about posters, though. I don't think they should necessarily be completely reflective of the movie. I think it's giving the idea of what you can expect from the movie. You expect adventure. You expect Kurt Russell with the gun, and
well, here's the
Chinese
other thing
monsters and other things. I mean, it looks interesting. Yeah.
If I hadn't liked the movie, I might be picking this apart and going, well, I don't remember that in the movie. I did like the movie. This does capture the spirit of it. And I swear in my mind, I'm like, I'm sure he was in that pose with that gun and the device in his other hand. Nope, it's not. But you kind of conflate the two. Kim Cattrall, kind of a bombshell. Yeah, I can see her in the, but not in this movie. Not really.
Gracie Law. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like it when he's trying to explain. Can you explain to me what I saw there? I run over this guy and then lights coming out of his mouth, and it's like just man though. But that's a great poster. I do like it. It's fun. That's what movies were back in the day. They were fun.
The Muppet posters, yes.
The Muppet movie. Look at this. Look at all those cameos above the rainbow.
Yeah.
I forgot Richard Pryor was in this.
Oh, yeah. Everybody wanted to be in. And honestly, you had a lot of movies back then that had like these all-star casts, especially these like cameo things. But with the Muppets, these stars went to the movie company and said, we would like to be in something.
They were petitioning
with the
probably just to be in
this.
Yeah. Mel Brooks, I believe, is in this too, isn't he? As I recall.
Yeah. When it's just like, just this little, oh well, we have this role for like, it's like 2 lines and it's the waiter. Yeah, I'll do it. Okay.
I want to think. I don't know if the Muppet movie was late 70s. This does feel like evoked like a 70s style poster, but yeah, it's.
This was right around the time of like the Christopher Reeve Superman movie.
Yeah, that's probably the same year. That makes sense. But yeah, great classic movie. But I'd actually never seen this poster until I was doing investigation tonight. And it's a nice one.
Yeah.
It's got Miss Piggy dressed to the nines, trying to woo her beau there on the banjo. I mean, this is just
Rainbow Connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
It's a great song. And did you ever watch the episode of the Muppet Show with Debbie Harry? And Debbie Harry does a cover of that song.
Yeah,
and it is. She does it great.
And I mean, it's like, wow, this is one underrated singer. She's not just this, hard edge punky,
No, she
rocker.
could sing.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite part, not to get off on a tangent, but I remember the Muppet Show when Kenny Rogers starred, and they did a rendition of The Gambler. And I often said, if they're going to do a rendition of The Gambler, I don't want, like, Fozzie Bear and others standing in for the people in the thing. I want like Muppet old men.
Yes.
And then I watched it, and they had Muppet old men of like, you guys did exactly what you should have done. People knew what they were doing back then.
I
Yes.
remember that, and the ending of that too. The way it's like the ghostly image, and I'm like, oh, this is just brilliant. I love.
If
this.
you watch that scene too, Kenny Rogers is doing his best not to bust out laughing.
I know.
Yes, it's so ridiculous. Yeah, but
have we done a good old days on the Muppets?
we
may have to
haven't. We probably should. That's probably in the future. Yes.
Yeah.
But Muppet movie, great poster too. I like it.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean,
I love
Dreamscape
this movie.
and excuses to Kim Cattrall in the chat again. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, we have this was this is kind of a creepy movie, kind of like not like another take on what you'd see in something like Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
Yes, but kind of
More
of
science
a different
fiction.
take, because you've got you've got the hero character who is able to also go. Actually, you know what this is? This is the precursor to Inception. That's what this is. It's about people that can go into other people's dreams. And they kind of allude to a kind of MK Ultra kind of government thing where they people that have the skill to go into people's dreams can go into people's dreams and assassinate them, because if you die in the dream, you die in real life.
Yep.
So yeah, this was really using nightmares, using people's greatest fears against them. So but here's the thing about this poster, and you know where the inspiration comes from. It's got kind of especially with Kate Capshaw in it, you get this Indiana Jones vibe to it with the torch and everything. It's like might be a little misleading, but
it's fine. And I might have said Kate Capshaw. I might have said Kim Cattrall. They have similar sounding names, though.
Yes.
Yeah, Kate Capshaw was married to Steven Spielberg.
Yes,
that's basically what he was doing while filming Temple of Doom. He was trying to woo.
Yeah, well, let's face it, I can't blame him.
I think he was recently divorced too, so I guess he was fair game. But batteries not included.
This one is so sweet. The old couple in bed together. Aw, I think that's adorable.
And what is that spying on them through the window?
These days
that's what you wonder.
These days you'd assume it's a drone, but yeah, it's like a little UFO. Exactly.
I assumed in this movie they were actually supposed to be like robots from alien robots. Is that what they were? Like robots from another planet. I think
so. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like little sentient probes. Yeah. It's been so long, I don't remember. It's just a really, it's kind of got that ET kind of vibe to it.
And I think that's what they're going for, kind of in this. And again, not all posters had to have these big actiony scenes or whatever. And then sometimes you just have this with the mystery of the old couple and the things flying through the window, and you're wondering what it is, because you could. The point is, though, it sparks the imagination. It makes you think, what is going on here?
We did a watch party of this on Netter's Network. It was like one of the first ones that she did when she started going in alphabetical order.
This movie.
Yeah.
I think it's a classic. Yeah, it's an underrated classic, at least. Yeah. And of course, Goonies. This, of course, we are doing a lot of emblem posters in here, but look at that. You have
true.
That's Josh Brolin, right? Young Josh Brolin.
Yeah. He better not snap his fingers. Not right now.
There you go. Yeah, and look at that, though. I mean, I saw this poster, and you're a kid, and you're like, "Whoa." He's hanging on to is it a stalactite if it's on top? Is that right?
Stalactite holds tight to the ceiling. Stalagmite might reach the ceiling someday.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, and all the kids are clinging on, and this is almost like Indiana Jones vibe going on here. And is that the pirate ship underneath them? Is that what I'm seeing there?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. But that's of course the Goonies, which I heard is actually getting a Lego set next month. For those of you who are so inclined.
That is cool. I am not a Legos fan, but
it's cool
Michael French likes the fact that you can get Legos for the world building when you don't have action figures and play sets to world build.
Well, he argued that Lego did so much better with Indiana Jones than any action figure line did. He made that point. Yeah, he's like, I don't, because he and I actually was watching his video on the space system recently, and he was arguing that, the trouble with Lego is it's such a commitment. You're either Lego or you're other toys, and you can't be both. And I have to admit, as a child who was into Lego, that's true. I was more into Lego than the more standard toys, and I was mainly Castle System. I did get some of the Space System as well, but and then I got into Nintendo later on, so that kind of put the kibosh on that. But now since Nintendo's been making me angry lately, I've actually bought a couple of Lego sets just for kicks. I'm probably regressing to what I was into before Nintendo. Anyway, though, Police Academy. And, of course, we had comedies. Comedies got cool posters. Look at that, Police Academy, remember? And this thing kept getting sequels.
It did, because it was so popular. It was so funny. Steve Guttenberg, he actually said he loves this poster. It's just classic.
Was it Bobcat
stuff.
Goldthwait in this?
Not in the first one. He was in the second one.
And the actor all the way on the right, bottom right, he was a common in the Police Academy movies. He was also on The Closer, and part of me imagines that it's the same character, but he got promoted to detective over the years, and he ended up being on
that's an interesting thought. I never thought of it.
Yeah, that would be Lieutenant Provenza.
Yeah, yes. Provenza.
Very clever, anyway, comedy's got cool posters, and they could be outrageous too. You got the one lady cop showing off her legs, and then you have, and they get these posters get zanier with each movie too.
Right,
exactly. I'll say that. But let me move on to Cannonball Run, another 1970s one. But I love this though. The popcorn is in the lobby. The nuts are on the screen. Cannonball Run 2.
We had I think it had to have been on Big Al's channel that we just recently watched the first Cannonball Run. There's no other way to describe it than a screwball comedy. It is so funny. And
everyone was in this movie.
It's another one that
Jackie Chan is in the bottom right. He was in this movie.
Jackie Chan was in, the first movie had Dean Martin and who else was in it?
Burt Reynolds.
Well, obviously Burt Reynolds.
Is that Shirley MacLaine? Was she in this movie?
She's in the second one, yeah.
Okay.
But the what's brilliant about this, or maybe I'm mixing this up with Smokey and the Bandit.
Well, there's also Dom DeLuise, I think, is in Cannonball Run, the movie.
Dom DeLuise was in friggin' everything back then. And I'm not complaining about that, because I love Dom DeLuise. Oh, my gosh, that guy could make me laugh. Oh, man.
But look at this busy poster, huh? I mean, this just says, I want to see this movie.
And that's kind of the way the movie was, right? There was, you go scene, and there was always something happening. It was always a different gag is what it basically was. Wasn't Ted Knight in this movie, too?
I don't know. I think in the first Cannonball Run, Roger Moore was in it, almost basically playing a James Bond type.
A James Bond.
Yeah. I was told Police Academy movies were canon to National Lampoon. I actually... That's probably
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. And then we go into the 80s. There's the Better Off Dead poster.
Yeah, we watched this one. I want to say this one was also on Big Al Presents.
But even the teen movies got these drawn things. Look, there's a young John Cusack there among, and this movie actually had a pretty good cast. I think the actor who played Booker in Revenge of the Nerds was in it, and I like the actress that played the French exchange student.
So did John Cusack. So.
Yeah, and there you go. Coming to America.
I love Murphy.
This one and look at that. I know if you're looking at it from distance, you think, "Oh, that's just a photo." No, that's drawn. That is a drawing of Eddie Murphy on there. I think the background might be a photograph, but that's him drawn on there.
I don't think so. I think that's.
Was that another painting as well? Oh, might be.
It absolutely is. Yeah.
But Coming to America. So even the comedies would get these types of posters. It was incredible. Adventures in Babysitting.
Yes. Look very closely at the little girl there. Yes, that is a Marvel Thor's helmet.
Yeah, she was a big fan of Thor. And everyone kept making fun of her because at that point no one knew who Thor was. It's like,
Exactly.
she read the Thor comics, unlike Taika Waititi. But anyway,
You're absolutely right.
and then we have Elizabeth Shue in this movie too. But again, another hand drawn, and it sparks the imagination. And you knew there were live actors, and it's not a cartoon, but it's still
Right.
It was cool seeing these hand drawn posters. Or hand painted, I should say. Yes, and of course we'll end with Hook.
This
Late Robin
was
Williams. Yeah,
a great film. This you can think of it as a sequel to the original story.
yes.
If
Peter Pan grew up.
Peter Pan grew up, exactly.
I think he married Wendy, right? He's like, I'm going back along with Wendy, and they got married when they were old enough. They got married and had a family.
Well, no, because if you remember the original story, Wendy, he doesn't get together with Wendy at the end. When he finally comes, she's grown up and has her own child.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Named was it?
It's been a while since I've seen this. Okay.
Well, in this it was granddaughter, because who played Wendy was oh darn, we just lost her recently. She played McGonagall.
Maggie Smith.
Yes, Maggie Smith.
That's right. It was her
granddaughter is named after. It takes her middle name Moira, and so when he comes back, he comes back and she's grown up, and he hasn't, and he wants to stay because, he wants to have a family, and so he grows up Moira. They end up getting married, and he forgets.
Yes.
But then he's called back to Neverland and new adventure. Great story, classic. This was Robin Williams at his peak.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, you really, really should see it. Bob Hoskins as Smee.
Perfect.
Dustin Hoffman is Hook.
Julie Roberts is Tinkerbell, I believe.
Yes, she is. Oh, and she. I don't want. If you haven't seen this movie, I don't want to give anything away.
And of course, various Lost Boys. And of course, what's interesting is there was a new Lost Boy leader that took over after Peter left, and there was like a rivalry there.
You almost feel like there should have been a sequel, like there was another generation in Neverland.
Exactly. But great poster though. Look at this, and you got the Hook in the middle. You got Dustin Hoffman to the left.
Dustin Hoffman,
Troy, the poster for Adventure Base, reminds me of the Adam West Batman. I wonder if that was what it was evoking.
I'm sure there had to have been some inspiration there. Well, actually, I'm sure it's more directly inspired by the scene where she's on the outside of the. I'm forgetting the name of the building. We just call it the Adventures in Babysitting building here in Chicago.
Oh, the one that's got the diamond shape.
Yeah. I forget the name of it, but
it's not Chrysler.
No. Chrysler's in New York.
I will find that out because now it's gonna make me.
Julia
crazy.
was the weak part of the cast, but that's not all that weak. Yeah,
he was fine. Right. Yeah,
her casting. I wasn't going gaga over the casting or over her herself. But the character of Tinkerbell in this movie is so sweet,
Kane Communications Building.
There you go.
Located at 150 North Michigan Avenue in Chicago.
Yes, it is. You used to drive by there all the time. I always loved Tinkerbell. I had a very special place in my heart for her, and I think my biggest problem with Julia Roberts is your hair is not blonde enough.
Well, there's that. Yeah. Didn't they get rid of Tinkerbell at one of the Disney parks? Didn't we do a story on that a while back or something? It's like, boo. But that's
I don't remember. Yeah.
But that's all the posters I did. I picked 20. A lot of them were from the 80s, but I just kind of wanted to show you kind of what we've lost. And I'm not going to say all Bond posters are bad. There are some good ones, even with the photographic, but there is something about these hand-painted posters that I miss.
I agree.
Actually, though, but before we end, though, I do have a couple. This one, oddly enough, was a people thought this was for. Oh wait, I'm not done yet. Never mind. I have a couple more.
There you go.
First Blood.
Yep.
Okay, that wasn't the end. I thought Hook was the end. Okay, First Blood. Remember Stallone?
Yes.
Big old gun. Now he's fighting for his life. Okay. Let me see. Risky
Oh,
Business.
Risky Business. I love this.
When I
I
get to
love this
R,
movie.
we will be watching it.
Oh, yes, we will. Yes, we
Classic
will.
movie. I think recently got a
Rebecca De
Criterion
Mornay.
release too.
Did it
And
really?
yeah, I have the regular DVD release of that,
Sure,
which was
sure,
also
sure.
pretty good. And that's Rebecca De Mornay, I believe, is there on the bottom
Yes,
there.
yes,
And that's
yes.
Tom Cruise. And I always thought, oh, that's a photograph. And then look, oh no, that's a painting.
Yep.
That is a
That's a
painting.
painting. Yeah.
Yes. But what about the Tron 1 poster? Well, I left that off here for a reason, but we'll get to that in a minute. But that is a great
Yep.
poster, the Tron 1 poster. Now this,
Yep.
of course, was for the re-release of Blade Runner:
Right.
The Final Cut. But this artwork had actually been commissioned when the original movie was being worked on. Now they did go with the other art with the the police tower, which I think is a great
Right.
poster. So I'm not picking.
Right.
I do think they made a good choice there. But this I think is also a great poster, and I'm glad.
But
it got
what
a
I
chance
love about the
to see its light.
compositioning now, unlike what I was saying about some of the other art,
Yeah.
some of these scenes are either directly taken from, like that shot of Rachel
Yes.
there in the right center is definitely a scene from the movie. The picture of Decker there is clearly inspired by a piece of promotional art, an actual photograph that was taken.
Yes.
But the fact that it's raining, that is very clearly homaging Rutger Hauer's Tears in the Rain.
Oh,
at
I
the
never even
end.
saw that, but you're right.
Oh yes, that's
Look at
very, very
that.
clear. You see that, and because this is a re-release, the final cut version. Most of the people getting it have already seen the movie, and then you see this, and you're like, oh, like Tears in the Rain. And then you got to get that DVD, right?
Yeah, and this was put on the Final Cut DVD.
Yep.
So they made this the artwork for the Final Cut, whereas the others had the old artwork on it. So I thought that was neat. And this is a great poster. And I'm going to do one more. Sometimes, even for movies that did not have these types of posters, they do commission an artist later on for an anniversary to redo it in the old style. This is one for the Shawshank Redemption.
Right.
And I want to say something too. If y'all like movie posters and you're feeling bad, like, oh, I didn't get to pick up these classic posters, keep in mind that there are plenty of companies online that are always doing fancy new prints, officially licensed, and they commission top artists to do these prints. So, like they recently did a Suspiria poster. I almost picked up, but I didn't. But they're always doing new prints of posters. I think Mad Duck Posters is one outfit that sells them, and they have others. Like Mad Duck, I think did I think it's Mad Duck Posters or Mad Dog Posters. They did a Excalibur poster recently, which I was tempted to pick up. But it looked really cool. But yeah, so even if you missed out on getting these hand painted posters back in the day and they're hard to find now, you can sell, or you can always get reprints. They do sometimes sell reprints of these too. So there you go.
True.
But that's it for these classic posters. But we are going to have to get into the news tonight. And I did want to get into, unfortunately, our first in remembrance of the evening, which directly ties into our good old days, because every poster I showed you was a Drew Struzan, the king of the movie posters. He's tied. Every one of those posters I showed you was one of his. That's why I first I was like going to do like, okay, I'm going to do some Bond posters. I'm going to think, I said, you know what? Pick posters by the guy you're doing the first remembrance of. That's what we'll discuss tonight.
I just dropped the link to Drew, the man behind the poster from 2013. It's available for free right now on YouTube. It's a great documentary. Lots of great interviews with Harrison Ford, with Michael J. Fawkes, with a lot of with Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, all these people that worked directly with him, and including those of you that joined us last night for the Saturday Night at the Movie, the Misc, Tom James, who spent a day with Drew because his character was based on Drew Struzan.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, in fact, that opening scene, a lot of the posters that we were just talking about were on the back wall, and he is working on a picture from oh gosh, what was that? The Dark Tower, I think it was.
Yes, the Dark Tower. Yes,
and that's another piece of art. It's actually important to the story. And in this documentary, Tom Jane talks about, how he's like, yeah, I can, yeah. He says, let me try. And he sits down and he's holding the pencil the way you would hold a pencil to write. And Drew's like, no, that's absolutely wrong. And he tells him to hold it, like this. And he says, and when you want to draw a line, because if you draw a line with a pencil, anybody knows this, you get, I don't know, just 6 inches. And that thin line becomes thicker and thicker and thicker. And you don't want that. But if you turn it on its side, you can keep getting thin lines, thin lines, thin lines. And then he would say, okay, and now what you want to do is you want to already be moving your pencil. You're already moving it in the direction you want to go before you even touch the can. And he spent hours with them, and he's like, there you go. You got it. Then Tom Jane goes to, film his scenes and goes right back to holding the pencil like you hold a pencil. And he's like, no, you mucked it all up.
I thought you were about to say, and then Thomas Jane went on to do comic artwork or something in his spare time. Yeah. He made his own Punisher poster.
No, he blew it. He just blew it. And he's like, oh no, I wasted the whole.
It's habit. Yeah, it's something you have to get into the habit of doing. But yeah, frankly, they should just have. Yeah, I don't know. What can you do? It's like how people complain about how sometimes in movies they don't handle guns properly because they're. But yeah, rest in peace, Strusen. Let me see if I get his name right. And frankly, he's been around. That's actually from the special edition re-release of Star Wars: A New Hope back in the 90s. Remember when those posters came out?
Yep, absolutely.
I remember those in theaters. I thought it was interesting because on Empire Strikes Back poster it had the new Emperor as opposed to the one that was in the movie.
If you look at this piece of art that you have up right now, you look at the stars on the left side and the direction that the ships are going. You're basically drawing your eyes from upper left to lower right. The reason being is when you take all 3 of the posters, put them together, they go together with Empire being in the middle, and then there's an up to the right motif for Return of the Jedi. Now, when he did those posters, it was a last minute decision by Lucas and 20th Century Fox, and he didn't have one poster when he was doing the other, so he had to do them from memory and get that angle element for all 3 of them, and it works out beautifully. You take those 3 posters, you put them up in order, and it looks like they just were done at the same time together.
I'm curious because I know he also did the posters for the Star Wars prequels. Do they also match up when you put them against each other?
They do, but those were more planned. And you see how on the right-hand side that it's kind of dark, and on the left-hand side it's kind of dark? Yeah. It's because he was trying to frame them. Whereas when he does the prequels, it's like they're coming out of that frame. So there isn't as much of that side to it. That was, again, a stylistic choice.
And then, of course, whatever I think about the sequel trilogy, it was great that Disney hired him to do. Oh wait, no, they didn't, because they did the stupid photo posters. That should have been the sign something was wrong right there when they didn't go with hand painted Star Wars posters for their movies. That should have been a sign something was wrong.
And I want to say that his last poster was that Hook one, but it maybe
no,
it was
these came after that. The Star Wars prequels came after that. I mean, I think he was busy. Like that Shawshank poster came out. I think
what had happened was he in 2016 when they did this this documentary on him, he was announcing his retirement, and he was basically saying, and this line actually comes up in the Mist at the beginning when he's like, they don't want this artwork anymore. They just do crap with Photoshop now. and he had actually said that in this interview, and he's like, I'm just gonna retire, But then he kept coming out of retirement and doing, like this. He did these as a special, re-release, and he'd do other things, and he did a lot of the artwork for the expanded universe. I was talking about this in my Liquid Lunch last week. Like the courtship of Princess Leia and stuff
book art, yeah.
What's terrible, and this is why, guys, I say it and I say it and I say it, and I'm going to say it again: own the physical media, own whatever it is, whether it's the book, whether it's the DVD, whether it's the poster, whatever it is, because if you own it if you own a digital version of it on your device, whatever it is, they can take it away from you at any time. And I think, tell me if you're still here, Lynn Green, I think it was Lynn Green who was telling me about this. Her digital copy of The Courtship of Princess Leia had the original Struzan art, and then suddenly they updated it with the new artwork. And
awful.
She's like, no!
Some awful Photoshop nonsense, probably, right? Yeah.
No, it was a different artist.
Okay.
It actually draws a lot more. So I was doing an analysis of the, or critique or commentary, whatever you want to call it, of the original artwork for the Courtship of Princess Leia. And I said, you look at this picture of Harrison Ford, you can tell he was using an image of Harrison Ford from Blade Runner as his inspiration. Okay, that's fine. The image of Princess Leia is an action pose from Return of the Jedi when she's in like the metal bikini, but she is drawn with a wedding dress on. An outfit that she never had before. And then there's a character from the book that's an original character and stuff like that. That is great art. It's like the evolution of these characters. And then some of them are the same characters, but they're aged up a little bit, and whatever. So that's why that piece of art is so wonderful. Then when they re-released it, it was Princess Leia in the Endor helmet, and it's all reuse of Return of the Jedi art, and they throw the Rancor in there because actually the Rancor does show up. Rancor does show up in the Courtship of Princess Leia.
Oh.
By the way, those of you that are talking about the cartoons and the cowboy hat moron who is now in charge of Lucas Stories and the Witches of Dathomir, well, that started in a much better form in the Courtship of Princess Leia. And I'm sorry, I've gotten off on a expanded universe tangent. I didn't mean to do that. We should focus on the art.
Not even Photoshop I can almost draw as well as the crap on
These new covers, yeah.
Well, maybe they were using AI.
I kind of felt the same way about the covers for the Heir to the Empire trilogy. They were good, but they weren't great. They weren't like this, where you look at it and you think, is that like a desaturated photograph? No, that's
a painting.
Yeah.
And I will say this. I remember when I got my Star Wars DVDs when they had a re-release, not the main set, but when they came out later on, when they included the non-anamorphic widescreen version of the original trilogy, which is useless on a high-definition TV, but they at least were ports of the Laserdisc copies. And they also came with, of course, the regular movie, which was the special edition with Hayden Christensen at the end of Jedi. Don't get me started. Anyway, but the covers on these discs were terrible.
Yeah.
Because they were like Photoshop versions of like the original movie posters. I'm like, what are you doing? And then you look on the inside and the inserts were the original artwork like from the 70s and stuff. Like, why didn't you put that on the cover or give me a reversible cover at least?
Yeah.
So I could make it the actual. And Lucas, you own this stuff. It's not like you're having to pay anyone, I think. I don't get it. By the way, Drew Struzan, he did do one of the original Star Wars posters from 1970s, I think. It just wasn't one of the more well-known ones. Maybe it was
he did
Mexico
it for
or something, or
No, he did
over the 10 years.
I can't remember which re-release it was for, but it's the one that's referred to as the circus poster.
I see.
In the
Yes.
style of the old circus, and he did it with another artist. Maybe someone can help me with this. He used, pencils and crayons and so forth, and this other artist used airbrush. And they combined their styles.
Oh, very neat.
So they worked on different parts of the poster, and it turned out really, really good. Drew did part of the Style D circus sheet. That's
very cool.
That's what it's called. And it's that poster, like if you saw it, you'd recognize it. You'd know it. And in fact, he talks about it on that documentary that I shared the link for. When they finished it, both of them kind of screwed up because they got so into the art that they were doing, they forgot they were doing a movie poster. And you need the room at the bottom or the top or wherever to put the words, Star Wars and, the scroll of, who's in it and stuff like that, or whatever the words are. And he's like, oops. So he said, okay, here's what we'll do. And he just framed it. And then he added some art around the side with Obi-Wan and stuff, as though it was, and very desaturated. And that's what makes it look like so it looks like it's a poster within the poster, which makes it look like that circus style, the circus poster style. That's why it looks, and that's really what made it iconic.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great little poster in its own right. And he did a Raiders poster, but it wasn't for the United States; it was for another country. That's why I didn't include it, because someone else did the original Raiders poster, which is also a great poster. But there are other great poster artists too. I'm not just focusing on Drew. Well, I am focusing on Drew here because
we are focusing on Drew because we will never get another piece of
unfortunately
Drew
not.
Artwork.
He has passed away. Strussen's career spanned
Thank you. Thank you, David. That was the other artist. Charlie White III was the other artist on the Style D poster. Thank you. And yes, he is featured in fact, he's one of the people interviewed in that documentary that I shared with all of you.
Yeah, it's a great documentary if you want to check it. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I watched part of it. And you see the pouring out of love for this man from many creatives in the industry.
And what I'm so glad about it is it was an outpouring of love for him in his lifetime. He got to experience that. He was part of this, this was, what did I say, 2016 or something? This was years ago this was done. There's a great scene, and he talks about the experience of him going to, I don't remember if it was a Comic-Con or something like that. He was asked to be a guest, and he's like, why would anyone want to see the artist who did the movie posters? They
wanted to see it.
And sure enough, they had a line of people waiting to get his autograph and tell him how great his artwork was, and he was just blown away by it. He's like, I had no idea I had fans.
there was a guy years ago. I mean, there was a guy that was the artist for a lot of video game artwork for the NES, and he had no idea that he had a following. And they did a mini documentary on him, and he said, "Well, I didn't have video games growing up. When I came up with this artwork, I tried to think when I was a kid, playing with my army men and things. What would I have wanted to see, like in this game called Contra on the poster?" And that was where his imagination got spurred from. But unfortunately, Struss official it was heavy heart that tell you that Drew Strusman has moved on from this world as of yesterday, October 13th. Statement reads in part from his official Instagram: "I feel it's important that all of you know how many times he expressed me to the joy he felt knowing how much you appreciate his art. Strusman's career spanned decades of illustrated works, crafting theatrical posters for some of the most iconic pop culture hits of all time, from Back to the Future, Blade Runner, E.T., and many more, before he formally retired in 2008 after his work on Indiana Jones and The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. He did the artwork for that poster. It's interesting. I went looking for his E.T. poster. I couldn't find one for the theatrical movie, but I think he had worked on a poster for Universal Theme Park E.T. ride, and that was his E.T. artwork. So that was interesting. He will perhaps be best remembered for Star Wars as the artist behind some of those famous posters in the entire saga, first joining the Galaxy with the 1978 re-release, working with Charles White III on a new one-sheet, the famous circus poster depicting Luke and Leia as they appear to swing across the Death Star's chasms. And from there, Susan went on a dozen more posters for original saga, as well as defining pieces of art for Indiana Jones. And Strussman would come out of retirement in 2015 to illustrate a special poster for The Force Awakens, his final artwork for the series. So I guess there was a Force Awakens poster that had his artwork on it. Strussman is survived by his wife Dylan as well as his son Christian. Our thoughts are out to this family at a sad time. He really was a legend, and he will be missed. But again, unfortunately, I don't want to even say photography killed the the movie poster artist, because photography
laziness,
existed.
and penny pinching is what killed.
They had photography back in the days of early Hollywood. They could have been doing it then, but they decide, no, we're going to class these up and make them paintings.
And then they wonder why their industry is dying now.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they've pinched all the corners. And it's not, we've talked about this before. Going to the theater used to be, I mean, it was still cinema, right? But cinema was still grand. You know, it wasn't live theater, but still you dressed
It was a big deal, and it was,
you went to dinner beforehand, but yeah, and the stars were stars, right? And it's become so droll at this point and so common. They've gotten to the point where they now have no defense against the AI onslaught that's coming.
I heard that the Hawktua girl was being cast in something, and I'm like, wait, what? I'm thinking, why isn't she in jail for the crypto scam stuff? It's like, and then they have no idea. It's because of Instagram followers now. So there's no mystery anymore. I'm telling you.
Although she's probably being cast in something that you got to be 18 or over to watch.
I didn't go looking to see what she was cast in.
Yeah, I know. You might find out. Exactly.
Let's not go there, please. Okay, Drew. Sorry, we already talked about Drew. Let's go to another famous, Ace Frehley, 74, co-founder and lead guitarist of the legendary rock band Kiss and a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, has died following injury suffering during a fall last month. According to a statement for his family, he was 74. Frehley's family wrote in the statement, "We are completely devastated and heartbroken in his last moments. We are fortunate enough to have been able to surround him with loving, caring, peaceful words, thoughts, prayers, and intentions as he left this earth. We cherish all of the finest memories, his laughter, and celebrate his strengths and kindness that he bestowed upon others. The magnitude of his passing is of epic proportions and beyond comprehension. Reflecting on all of his incredible life achievements, Ace's memory will continue to live on forever." Is he the first member of Kiss that's passed away?
Let's see. Gene Simmons is still alive, right?
He's still alive, yeah.
Peter Criss? Paul Stanley?
I don't know. I think they are. I could be wrong. But this is a big deal. I'm sorry he passed. I mean, that seems young too. But I guess he had, because this was an injury related death, though. I think just prolonged from a fall, unfortunately.
And that one, I wasn't a huge Kiss fan. Definitely did know the name Ace Frehley. But when I found out how he died, it kind of hit me a little hard. That's how my grandmother died.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
And that's just,
awful.
I mean, there was no dementia, there was no illness, there was nothing. Just a slip and a fall, head injury,
and that can do
causes bleeding, and nothing you can do now.
It's awful. His longtime bandmates Kiss, Paul Stanley, and Gene Simmons wrote in a statement, "We were disappointed by the passing of Ace Frehley. He was an essential and irreplaceable rock soldier during some of the most formative foundational chapters of the band and its history. He is and will always be part of Kiss' legacy. Our thoughts are with Jeanette, Monique, and all those who loved him, including our fans around the world." This is a big deal. Kiss, who performed in theatrical makeup and costumes, received little respect from music critics and the rock intelligentsia. I just want to punch the rock intelligence. I don't know. There's something about that phrase that makes me want to punch somebody. Their impact and influence on a generation of musicians and fans have been immense and enduring. The band's songs are in many ways a gateway for their concerts and larger-than-life mystique. In an era that preceded MTV, their performances were almost overwhelmingly visual and experimental, with explosions, fire-breathing, smoke-spewing guitars, and fireworks, yet the mystique of Kiss was key. The band members' faces were not revealed for more than a decade, by which point Frehley and drummer Peter Criss had had left the band. Freely was known as Space Ace and cultivated an otherworldly image. I mean, these guys were huge during the 70s.
Yeah,
right?
and
I mean,
I have to admit that I was talking about this. Was it last night, or did we talk about this on Friday? I don't remember. We were
maybe briefly, yeah.
and I did have a tendency to confuse the characters, not the people, but the characters they played. Ace Frehley's and Paul Stanley's.
Right.
The Spaceman and the Star Child. I often confuse the two because there was a similar theme there.
Right.
So, yeah.
But,
so basically, Ace Frehley had both of his eyes made up, and Paul Stanley just had his right eye covered with a star.
remember though, they were on that Paul Lynde Halloween special we watched last year. Remember?
That is right. They were.
Do you remember when he was interviewing them? He's like, "Oh, I love how you do your makeup," and then he said, we don't wear makeup." Remember they said that to him?
I love that. Oh, okay.
But I'm telling you, we are losing legends now, and
We are.
it's just sad. Like, I mean, I know Kiss has had its detractors, and people love them. Like, I had a cousin who was obsessed with Kiss, favorite band ever. So, I mean, it's just as this. Okay, the 1970 live set Kiss Alive, driven by supercharged versions on Rock and Roll All Night, combined with memorable television appearances and Alcon's business savvy default, the band is superstar. The core audiences were teenage boys who were delighted by their parents' mortified reactions to this loud and heavily made-up group of freaks.
Yeah.
The band's painted faces soon began appearing on jean jackets across the United States, and their iconic logo with a pair of lightning bolt S's purloined from David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust era on untold thousands of high school notebooks. The band united with Alice Cooper, Lou Reed producer Bob Ezrin for their vitally important follow-up studio album Destroyer. So yeah, there's some great detail in this article if you want to read about Kiss. Yeah, rest in peace. And this sucks, man. It sucks. That's why I hate to say this. This is why I wanted to go see that Billy Idol and Joan Jett, because I'm like, if I don't see these now, I may never get a chance to. You know, it's like it. Oh, there was a Kiss crossover with Scooby Doo. Yes, there was.
Yeah. And there was the movie we never got. I think it wasn't Family Guy that imagined it. Kiss Saves Christmas.
That would have been funny.
Wouldn't it have been awesome? I would have loved that.
Phantom of the Park, not Phantom of the Amusement Park. Of course, you're close. That was a made-for-TV movie. Did you ever see it?
I did. I don't remember it very vividly. Not to be confused with Phantom of the Paradise.
I think there's evil robot versions of Kiss in this made-for-TV movie, and like these kids are investigating it. Was Scott Baio in it? I seem to remember Scott Baio being in it, but maybe he wasn't.
Wouldn't be surprised.
But what did I want to say though? There was a wonderful episode of one of my favorite series, Millennium, which had all four members. It was a comedic episode they made, because once in a while, like on the X-Files, they would do a comedic episode of Millennium, even though Millennium was very stark and serious, and they would do a comedy episode. This was about them. Some Hollywood producer was making a movie based on one of Frank Black's old FBI serial killer cases, right? And of course, they're Hollywooding it up. And of course, they have to insert Kiss in there because, you know, it's happening at a Kiss concert. That didn't happen in the real events or whatever. And
oh my God.
all throughout the episode, not only do they have Kiss singing at the end of the episode, but during the episode, you have members of Kiss playing characters or like suspects in the background, like being interviewed about, oh, he's the killer or something. You know what I mean?
It was
kind of funny, yeah.
There was a this wasn't Ace Frehley. This was Peter Criss. He appeared on an episode of. Do you remember the show on PBS 321 Contact?
Yes, I remember that. Yes, I do.
There was the girl named the hostess named Trini went to the Kiss concert, and they were demonstrating the synthesizers, the electronic music, and the voice altering. You know, because it was an educational thing, and it was really, really cool. Yeah. And
Very
of course,
cool.
This was, I think, after they'd done the face reveal, but they were still mostly known for their makeup. But of course, he appears without the makeup because it was meant to be like behind the scenes kind of.
Behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. Why is a cemetery a great place to write a story? Because there are so many plots there. Yeah, that's a good one, the Horror King. Thank you.
That
I'll
is
remember
good.
that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Just don't sleep in a cemetery for kicks. You might not wake up the next day. Okay. Anyway. Speaking of, well, no, let's not be rude. Okay. Microsoft denies U.S. retailers have removed Xbox products from stores. So all
You
throughout
first sent this to me, and I thought, well, of course they do. I mean, for marketing reasons, they can't admit to it.
So I'm trying to figure out what the truth is. Now I've seen people online, and they've been writing it. They're saying like, now are Target and Walmart officially pulling them? That was something that was floating around. But people said I've been by these stores, and the Xbox selections are looking pathetic. Like they're cannibalizing the Xbox displays to put PlayStation and Nintendo stuff there. You know.
Okay, at the risk of getting ahead of you,
Yes.
I am going to say, and I can't speak to Walmart because I almost never go to Walmart.
Yes.
But Target, you know how I am with Target. I hate Target. I won't go to Target anymore.
Yes.
Target cannot manage to keep things in their store. Their shelves are bare. Nobody does any work there. Can you tell me when you're getting such and such? No, we can't. We don't know. Can you tell me what other store? No, we can't help you with that either. Screw you. Which is the worst is when Target has a friggin' toy exclusive. I've talked about the Star Wars ones, and now there's one with Superman and Batman. They did the Christopher Reeve Superman, which got completely cocked up, and everyone was pissed because they couldn't get the figures. And now they're going to do the same thing with Batman '89.
So Target stinks. I got you.
They absolutely do. And if Walmart isn't any better, I'm not saying they are. I'm not besmirching Walmart because I don't know. But if they're anything like Target, then to hell with them too.
So here we go. Microsoft has refuted claims U.S. retailers have withdrawn sales of its Xbox Series X and S consoles, insisting major chains remain committed partners for Xbox consoles, accessories, and games. After Costco reportedly stopped selling not reportedly, they stopped selling them.
Yeah.
Both its online and physical stores.
Is that like the reporting version of allegedly in legalese?
Well, I feel like the head of Costco saying, "Now we're removing them from the shelves." Okay, so allegedly you're removing them from the shelves. No, we are. No, but I'm not going to. We can't make a definitive statement. I'm making a definitive statement. We're not selling Xbox anymore.
And Jesse Guajardo says, Troy, I had a hard time collecting Jurassic Park toys from Target. Look, the problem with these stores, when you can't find them on the shelves, the only way you can get some of this stuff is to pay extra to the scalpers. That is the problem. This is why I hate Hasbro. I'm starting to hate all of the friggin' toy companies. Why would you go into an exclusivity agreement with a company like Target? All you're doing is you're giving money that you could be getting from toy collectors. You're giving it to these third-party scalpers. Brilliant. And you're pissing off all your... There's a lot of collectors that get so pissed. They're like, you know what? I can't get it. I'm not going to bother. I can't get this wave of these figures. I can't catch them all. So screw it. I'm not going to get any of them.
Isn't Hasbro the same company that sent out like the Teenage Ninja Turtle lair to people that weren't supposed to get it, and then they said we want you to send it back to us, or we're not going to let you order things?
I want to say that one was Mattel. No, Hasbro was the one that sent the Pinkertons after someone who got cards early or something like that. Yeah, so they're all both of those companies are as bad as the politicians in Illinois.
So now in a statement provided by Windows Central, Microsoft spokesperson dismissed the rumors by saying Target and Walmart, among other retailers, remain committed partners for Xbox consoles, accessories, and games. The rumor arrived on the heels of not one but two recent price rises in the United States, and news Microsoft has raised the price of subscription service Xbox Game Pass, which is its most expensive tier. You know, I'm sorry. If these things aren't selling on the shelves, retailers really have no recourse. They need that shelf space. That shelf space you could be giving to something else that will sell. Correct?
Yep.
So this doesn't make any sense. And I don't know. I feel like, I guess it's Microsoft. I think that's part of the problem. People used to call Xbox because even though Microsoft owned it, they they sort of had some autonomy from Microsoft. Now I feel like Microsoft, from what I've heard, they're getting more involved when they shouldn't be, because they're just making things worse. And I don't know. I know we mentioned with regards to Bob Chapek when Disney was going to the iceberg that it's time to steer and get out of the way. But I feel with Microsoft and Xbox, they're thinking, go right into the iceberg. We can break through it. That's what I feel they're doing, but I don't know.
Gosh, no, yeah. So you give them the best benefit of the doubt. You know, they're saying, look, if you can't supply us with what we need, we'll put something else up because we got to sell stuff. But the other thing is, you know,
Real
once
Wed
you get
Nation,
in the store.
Nation Gaming Fest. I was at Target today. You know, if I have time, I need to stop in a Target and see if they have any Xboxes. All the word, including what we're hearing now, is that they don't have this stuff. Or maybe they have it in a corner somewhere. You have one Xbox and 5 copies of Assassin's Creed Shadows.
No, jeez. But I'm telling you guys, you do not patronize Target. Let them die. Seriously.
Okay. So anyway, that's the latest word in the Xbox saga. I actually don't like the fact that Xbox is floundering like they are. You actually want all your game companies to be doing cool things so they compete with each other and make their own stuff better.
Yeah.
But I feel like nobody wants to compete anymore. What's that old expression?
Like I said, it's lazy.
The competition is my friend and the customer is my enemy. You know?
That's what it's become, yeah.
Yeah, they push too hard on customers when they raise the prices. I think so. I'm not paying that kind of money for a game console. I don't care. Even if I wanted one, I wouldn't be paying that kind of money.
And you see it, and not just with the games. I'm going back to the toys again, but you know, Hasbro just announced a couple weeks ago their Tron HasLab for like $300 and some friggin' dollars for like 5 action figures, 2 little light cycles, and a display stand, and they're barely 10% of the way. When the first week they should be halfway there. It's not gonna.
We're gonna have some words on the new Tron movie. It might have something to do with the success of the new Tron movie.
It could too. Yeah, you might be right there.
Were these classic era Tron characters at least, like from this?
Yes, they are. See, that's the thing, and I don't know. I'm not sure what the thought was, but they got Tron, Flynn. I'm forgetting the girls. The character name.
Cora.
Right. No, not Cora. From the first.
Oh, in the original, I forget.
Yeah. The bad guy. I'm forgetting that character's name too.
Sark,
exactly. And then like one other program that's like red so that you can have another adversary type character. The neat little feature, they're very, very posable. They look really, really good. They have these effects. You know how like lightsabers,
yes.
Some of the toys come with effects for the lightsaber, or like blasters that have the pew pew coming out the end. Well, their discs have that. You know, like you can put them in a pose and it looks like motion of the light. Really kind of cool looking. But again, for the price they're charging for it, it's ridiculous. And the fact that it's a HasLab where you have to pay, pledge the money up front on a credit card, and then they sit on it for a year before you actually get the damn thing. I'm telling you, I'm at an age where I don't want to do crowd funds and pre-orders anymore because I could be dead by the time the thing comes.
Release the toys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to Jim Carrey in talks to lead live action The Jetsons movie. Colin Trevorrow.
Yeah, I did not have that on my bingo card for this year. That one took me by surprise.
I don't know how to feel about this.
Jim Carrey playing George Jetson makes sense to me.
Well, he's like a real-life cartoon character.
Yes, but he's a little old for the role, don't you
They could always de-age him, though.
And since it is in quotes live action cartoon,
and he is lively, he is still a physical comedian. He can do a lot of the physical stuff still.
If they did some CG to de-age him, I think it would work, given the the comedic, cartoony, motif. But why don't we get into it? Because
yes. So Jim
Yeah.
Carrey is in talks to lead a live-action Jetsons movie with Colin Trevorrow and talks to direct the project at Warner Brothers Pictures. The rap has exclusively learned early days on the project, and no deals are currently in place. Trevorrow and Joe Epstein are in talks to write the script. The Jetsons was a classic 1960s Hanna-Barbera animated series that centered on married couple George and Jane Jetson, their kids Judy and Elroy, dog Astro, and robot maid Rosie. Starring George O'Hanlon, Janet Waldo, Mel Blanc, Peony Singleton, Dawes Butler, Todd Messick, Gene Vanderpyle, Frank Welker, and Howard Morris. The Jetsons initially ran from 1962 to 1963 before it was revived in 1985 for 51 more episodes. I didn't know that. So it had a limited run series, and then they just made a ton more in 1985.
Yeah. And then
Did
there
they
was that
match?
movie. There was also the movie that they did that combined them with the Flintstones. I like what Samuel Procter said. Makeup is better than de-aging CGI. I said yeah, and lighting. And then I started thinking about it, especially regarding the art that we were talking about. I'm like, yeah, but now I think we've lost the talent in both makeup artists and lighting artists to be able to de-age people. Now they constantly rely on CG. That's all there is now.
I don't think he looks terrible for his age, and they can do stuff with makeup, so it might work. Yeah, I mean, he plays Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic movies.
But this is what I say. They can do it with makeup, but they'll friggin' do it with CG because that's what they do now.
Hard to tell. It depends on what Colin Trevorrow has planned. Carrey's other credits throughout Legendary career include The Mask, love The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, name a few. All the old movies. Carey's films have been grossed $6 billion at the Royd office. He is rep by WB attorney Deborah Klein. Trevorrow relaunched the Jurassic World franchise in 2015 and most recently directed 2022's Jurassic World Dominion, which made over $1 billion at the box office. Trevorrow first broke out at Sundance with 2012 with Safety Not Guaranteed. He did that movie and also signed on to direct an untitled conspiracy thriller at Paramount Pictures. He is rep by... Wait a minute. Was he signed on to direct an untitled conspiracy thriller at Paramount Pictures in 2012 and they're still working on it?
Could be. Could be.
It's all about a MySpace killer, you know?
Oh, God.
All the kids are on MySpace. I'm sorry.
Can you see it? Like, MySpace, Facebook, X,
Instagram. They're changing it.
They got to keep updating it. TikTok, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I don't know. This is going to be hit or miss. That's how I look at it. It could be great. You could really poke fun at like futurism, especially like 1960s era futurism. So there could be a lot here for comedy if they want to go that route. We'll see, and maybe pay tribute to the original cartoon. So we'll see. Okay. This is from our the good people at WDW Pro, right? This is that Park Place.
The Park Place, yeah.
Okay, so Forbes claims James Gunn's Superman lost money in theatrical run.
Yep.
You know what? This is dawning on me. I don't know what a hit is anymore.
Well,
I know of two hits this year: Minecraft movie and K-pop Demon Hunters. And I'm not even saying those are necessarily my fare, but those were the big hits I think of from last year.
Yeah.
And K-pop didn't even have a theatrical run, really. Go ahead.
I mean, WDW Pro, that Park Place, Culture Casino usually hit on this, but if you want to get really into the weeds on it, Valiant Renegade digs into the finances on these things. And they've all been ahead of the curve. They all said that this movie probably lost money or just barely broke even. The spin that they put on it, not because they were carrying water for James Gunn or anything, just, looking at it in the most positive light, is that it's the first movie in the launch of their cinematic universe. If it just breaks even, that's okay as long as it has legs. You know, the next movie does good. It gets people moving in the momentum and stuff. But after Peacemaker, I don't think that's going to be the case.
I said this, and everybody told me I was crazy. I said there no way it was going to be more successful than Man of Steel. Let me read into this article. Let's see what they got. So, after much speculation about the financial outcomes of January Superman, a new report from Forbes has made the situation plain. The film reportedly did not recoup costs during its theatrical runs. While writer Tim Lammers stopped short of using the word flop, his own math makes it clear that Superman lost money in theaters, and Warner Brothers is now depending on digital and streaming sales to fill the gaps. According to Forbes, Superman closed its domestic run on October 2nd, 2025. After 84 days in theaters, the film earned $354.2 million domestically and another $261 million internationally. That sounds like a lot of money to me.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of money to me too.
Okay,
but remember, it has nothing to do with how much the money it actually is. It has to do with how much they spent on it, how much they spent to make the movie. Forget, I'm getting sick and tired of people saying the budget is abso-friggin' meaningless. It means nothing. The only thing that matters is how much they actually spent on it. And most of the time, we don't know how much that is, but I can guarantee you it's going to be more than what they budgeted.
We have figures here. Hold on. Forbes cites a $225 million production budget and a $125 million worldwide marketing budget. Figures reported by Variety. That's put Warner Brothers' total investment at roughly $350 million for residuals, interest, or studio overhead. So this isn't even the total cost, the $350 million. Lammers notes the studios typically split box office receipts 50-50 with theaters, meaning that if Superman's $650 million worldwide gross, Warner Brothers would retain $308 million. That's a shortfall of $42 million against total costs, and that's before any residual payments or additional expenses are included. So here's my question: was it just not successful enough? Did it have to do like Avengers Endgame money for them to be screaming hallelujah? I don't know. This is just.
Honestly, it's really not as difficult as people make it out to be, right? You spend money and you need to make more money to be profitable. But keeping in mind that just making more than you spent isn't enough because there's other factors that you have to consider, right? Like, for example, let's say they budget $250 million, okay? And they actually spend $350 million, right? So they've taken out loans for $350 million. They don't just take that in cash out of a wallet, So now, from the day they take that loan, it's accruing interest. So it's not $350 million. It's probably going to be getting close to $375 million, right? Or more, depending on how long it takes to get the movie made and out. Every day that goes by, when you're talking millions of dollars, you're talking about thousands and thousands of accumulating dollars on top of that.
So they're relying on streaming service rentals. Well, how are people supposed to rent it when it's already on HBO Max? You just get your subscription to HBO Max and it's there.
I suspect they might be doing some wordplay there because I think they try to imply that people watching it on the streaming service are, in quotes, renting it.
Not really.
No, you're right. They're not. But I do believe they see those as the same kind of revenue stream. It's not. It's absolutely not.
It's like when you would watch it on cable, and I'm sure they made money off of that, but not the same as you just going out and renting.
Because they're making licensing. Well, they used to make licensing on it. Now it's not even that. They're really kind of making nothing on it.
Because they could have sold it to Netflix, but they don't do that.
Exactly. Then if they were licensing it to Netflix and you were watching it on Netflix, then they would be making their money on it. But they're not. It's just, in quotes, content on the channel that you are already subscribing to. So they don't get any extra money if you watch Superman on the streaming service you're already paying for from them.
This is an interesting dig in this article. Apparently, this is contradicting Variety's profit claim. What makes the Forbes analysis even more striking is how it directly contradicts Variety's earlier reporting about the film's profitability. In August, Variety published an article celebrating Warner Brothers' historic box office streak, claiming that Superman had earned a theatrical profit of roughly $125 million, which would make it more profitable than Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, despite making less money overall. That narrative was widely repeated across the entertainment press and even cited in their own prior coverage here at Park Place. But now the math from Forbes paints a completely different picture. If Superman only brought back about $308 million after exhibitor cuts, then the studio spent $350 million producing and marketing. Then Variety's projection was off by roughly $165 million. Well, that's because the press and the News Corps, they like to make narratives. They don't like to report on the actual facts. That's the problem here.
Yep.
This is a narrative they were trying to produce. They wanted this movie to be successful, which I guess
good to want things.
I just don't. And I'm sorry. I agree with him. He has a headline here: the rough start for James Gunn's DC universe.
Yep.
They're heading into next summer with Supergirl.
Yes, they are.
What are they spending on Supergirl?
Too much. I can guarantee you it's going to be.
Do you think
too
they
much.
cut costs? Maybe they shot it around the same time as this movie, so they could reuse the sets and.
I don't know. That would be
Okay.
smart, but I'm going to say probably not.
I'm assuming it's going to take place in Metropolis. So yeah, I'm just saying.
And here's where James Gunn tipped his hat to this. All of his talk about having no oversight, he can do whatever he wants. I think that probably applies to the budget as well. So he's going to blow up the budget. He doesn't give a crap. He gets paid either way.
I don't. I don't know. I'm just saying. What about the toys? Were the toys selling for this thing? You're in the toy world.
Not that I'm aware of. See, this isn't an area of toys that I'm really into, so I haven't been paying much attention to it. I probably
Like were crypto dolls selling? Like they had crypto plushies? Were those selling? I don't know. I haven't heard any buzz.
I hadn't heard anything, so I can't really speak to it.
Come
For
to
their
think
sake,
of
I
it,
hope so.
I mean, how did kids receive this movie? Think about when you and I were kids with Christopher Reeve's Superman. I'm trying to think, like, I guess I'll know more when we get close to Halloween. Are they wearing Superman costumes? Did this?
Well, we're about 2 weeks away from seeing what the big costumes are. We'll see, but yeah, I don't think so. I don't think the kids have really taken to this, and that is what is killer. This is true with the toy companies. It's true with the movie companies. They are making this stuff for adult kids, right? Collectors and people that grew up with this stuff, chasing nostalgia. They're not connecting with the child audience, which means in a generation when we all have grabbers, there won't be any kids saying, "Oh yeah, my dad loved Superman. Let me go see that movie." They won't be doing it. They won't, because they don't have any love for it.
I think Supergirl's going to be the real test.
I think Supergirl's going to be real shit, to be honest with you.
I'm not saying it's going to be a good movie. I'm just saying our audience is going to be lining up to see it. Because I didn't get the impression they were really lining up to see this. I know that the trades were acting like this was a big summer success, but I didn't see it. It didn't seem to be reaching the heights that like Marvel reached, which I know is what they were trying to go for, because I think Warner Brothers wants its own MCU.
Yeah.
And
they do. They're just not putting in the effort that they need to in order to obtain that level of success.
Okay. I found a report that Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow could be anywhere between 180 million and 222 million.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. That sounds about right.
Okay, moving on to... I almost didn't want to post this picture, but let's just get into it. I'm not going to spend too much time on this article.
I used it on the thumbnail because it sums up what we're talking about here.
I think this is disgusting. Again, I'd like to ask David Zaslav, are you paying attention to what's going on at DC? Are you paying attention to anything?
I actually think he's checked out. I think he's he's done with all of it.
Okay. Daniel Warren Johnson's Absolute Batman Annual set to launch. Highly anticipated news stories 2020. Exclusive Batman sketches created for New York Comic Con sold out rapidly to your fans. Viral Batman versus Ice sketch sparks heated discussions across Instagram and X with massive engagement. Yeah, because you're using a creation that you didn't create yourself to push your own political agenda, which frankly some Americans would find treasonous.
Yep.
If I'm being completely honest with you. And Batman is not a traitor to the United States. I've never seen him that way. He always he skirts he just what the heck, Jesse Cardo? Yeah, that's correct.
This and anyone who knows the Batman character would say when it comes to all this stuff, he'd be like, not my circus, not my monkeys. I've got other problems I'm dealing with.
He never attacked cops. Even when the cops were after him because he was falsely accused of something, he never attacked them.
Nope.
Like, he would evade them, but he wouldn't fight them because he knew that they're ultimately on the right side. So this is ridiculous. I don't want to spend too much more time on this. I just didn't know if you had. I just thought we should put this out there, and I just want to make a point that, we had this big selling Batman comic, and I don't know that it's this. It might have been a different Batman comic, but then now you have this nonsense popping out, and it's going to be more political messaging in the comics, and it doesn't stop. And at this point, there's not even Schadenfreude. It's just, I'm just bored of it all.
And this kind of stuff really does, because this directly affects the movies, and this is why people don't care about these characters, and this is why these franchises are dying, because people are just turning and walking away from them.
Geek Flag brings up a good point, and this is actually shown in the Dark Knight trilogy. He doesn't even attack dirty cops, because there were cops on the takes in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
He was more or less trying to ferret out the good cops and start working with them, like Commissioner Ford in that movie. It was interesting how Nolan
because
took a nuanced approach
and
to
this
that.
was always the case with Batman. Well, I shouldn't say always, but for as long as I've been reading comics, he wasn't just beat the crap out of it until it stops moving and I am vengeance, I am the night. No. He would do the detective thing, get all the evidence out. And you saw this a lot in the movies, right? Where he would get the evidence, and then even for crying out loud, Batman Returns with the Tim. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was with the Penguin, right? Where he gets the recording of him.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter that it's the Penguin. It could have just as easily been any dirty politician getting the open mic moment and playing it for everybody, and boom, your career's over. You're done.
Yes.
You just did it to yourself.
I do love Batman Returns, as I've said in the past.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff. That movie doesn't waste time, I'll say that.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't waste your time. There's always something going on the screen. Speaking of Hollywood, okay. I keep confusing Paul Thomas Anderson with P.T. Anderson.
Uh-huh.
Who are different directors. And I think the P.T. Anderson is also a Paul. But anyway, one battle after another projected to lose $100 million theatrically. This is a Warner Brothers project. Another Warner Brothers project. Every morning.
Yeah, I put all the Warner stuff together, yeah.
Yeah, every Monday morning, Virginia-based cinema owner Marc O'Mara pores over grosses to see how the newest releases are playing in his area. Last weekend didn't offer much to celebrate, as some well-reviewed Oscar contenders collapsing at the box office. A24's Smashing Machine, a sports biopic starring Dwayne Johnson as MFA fighter Mark Kerr, died pretty quickly. I'm surprised, and I heard it wasn't as good as I thought it would be, because I thought the trailer looked interesting. But I don't know. Meanwhile, nobody did really well with Roofman, a dramedy featuring Channing Tatum. It was slow as hell, Mira says. I thought the movies were good. There were a lot of hype with them. That just didn't happen. I don't know, man. I think they're losing the younger audience. I think they're just done. DC metro area wasn't the only place where those films failed to connect. Roofman debuted to a paltry $8 million, while Smashing Machine endured a brutal 70% decline on this sophomore outing. Kiss of the Spider Woman, a $34 million musical adaptation with Jennifer Lopez, fizzled with $850,000. I didn't even know that was out. Did you know they had done an adaptation of Kiss of the Spider Woman?
I did not. No, I did not.
Okay. And then Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, led by Leonardo DiCaprio, struggled to break out despite being hailed as a generational masterpiece.
Imagine modern day Birth of a Nation not doing well. I can't imagine why.
Bret Easton Ellis trashed the movie, and people have loved his movies in the past. Like I'm a big fan of Part 8 that was done by him. People love There Will Be Blood, but I heard this one was just extremely leftist in its messaging, almost to a ridiculous standpoint. Though someone made a point that the leader of the white supremacists in the movie looked like Jimmy Carter, which I thought was kind of funny, actually.
Yeah.
But, okay. Though the global haul of 140 million is impressive for a film that's originally R-rated and nearly 3 hours long, One Battle requires roughly 300 million to break even. That's because Warner Brothers spent more than $130 million on production and 70 million on promotional efforts, and ticket sales are typically split 50-50 between studios and theater operators.
Yep.
I had mentioned this earlier in the year when Zaslav was going nuts over Mickey 17, and they were looking at the future Warner Brothers slates, how they spend a huge amount of money on this prestige picture for Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yep.
These prestige movies have failed to create a sense of fear of missing out among audiences, said Fandango's box office analyst Sean Robbins. They weren't event size enough. I heard that basically it's about these weather underground types that they were living in modern times and going after immigration authorities, basically.
Yep.
It sounds awful. It sounds terrible. A Warner Brothers spokesperson pushed back on those estimates, and nothing the company has enjoyed successfully at the box office with hits like Sinners and a Minecraft movie. I think that leads to the next article. Let's go to that one. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this. I couldn't even get a good picture from this, so here's the headline. Warner Brothers hits back, acclaims Leonardo DiCaprio's One Battle After Another, lose 100, and Minecraft and Sinners was wrote. What does Minecraft and Sinners have to do with your latest bomb? Yeah, those two movies were successful. Good for you. You had two successful movies. How many bombs have you had this year?
Yeah.
Disney had a success with Lilo and Stitch. That doesn't mean that Tron is not a disaster, which we
and what it's coming down to is you're seeing these and you're like, wonderful. Those are the exceptions. The rules are you're making crap.
Well,
and you're not having enough successes to make up for the crap.
Okay, so they're also bringing up the fact the latest Conjuring movie did well, so that I guess that makes One Battle After Another
and
losing
as we've
so
always,
much. Okay.
Yeah, it's not offsetting, though. It is not enough to be offsetting. And as we've always said, horror movies tend to be lower budget with higher returns, so, but you keep making your propaganda films and, be happy with your net losses.
There's A24 is putting out a Timothy Chalamet-led table tennis drama, Marty Supreme, that has a budget between 60 and 70 million, making the most expensive film.
Yay! I want to go watch a movie about ping pong.
It sounds like a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah,
but it's probably not that. I'm not a huge. I don't know. Okay, this is an epic bust, says one rival indie executive. A24 covered themselves, and everybody else has internationally got their asses handed to them. They may not want to come back to the well again. Okay. What are they talking about? They'll believe it'll take films of all shapes and sizes to push moviegoing to pre-pandemic levels. Revenues remain roughly 20% though behind those of 2019. Consumers
go to. Still talking about the coup. Time to get back to business, folks. All you're doing every time, I feel like every time an article brings up pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, and making those comparisons, all you're doing is saying they're still doing such shit business, they're never going to get back to where they were.
Okay, so Roofman was fine, but it was a niche audience. Well, to be fair, it only cost like $7 or $8 million. So there's that. I assume it's about a Roofman. It may not be bad. I mean, I used to like weird indie pictures back in the day, so I'm all for it. But they would spread by word of mouth.
Where I just assume a movie's going to be bad. That's where I'm at now. I know it's going to be a waste of my time, so I won't bother until someone like Deleted Scenes says, "Oh yeah, it's good. You'd like it. Go watch that."
Godzilla -1 had a budget of $15 million, and it made a profit when it came out. Just goes to show that you don't need a big budget to make a movie. Yeah, but that was a Japanese film. Hollywood would have spent like $450 million on it and put Marvel humor in it.
Yeah.
They
King
said,
says, huh?
go ahead.
Horror King says, if you want to see a movie about ping pong ball, I would suggest watching Balls of Fury. I'll just watch Forrest Gump again. You know, that's good enough for me.
I forgot that's a movie about ping pong.
Well, it's a small part of it.
Well,
but yeah.
yes, but you know,
Because how do you make a whole movie about it?
Fun to watch.
That is, but a whole movie about ping pong?
Haven't you ever seen Tournament?
Well, then again, you know, I wouldn't have said a movie about racing would be my cup of tea, and then we watched
F1.
F1, yeah. Exactly.
Here's the funny thing. I found in recent years racing movies are actually pretty good. I loved Ford versus Ferrari. I loved Gran Turismo. That's another one you can watch out. That came out last year. And Gran Turismo was really good too. It had the guy who played the sheriff in Stranger Things. I guess he's sort of in the Brad Pitt role in that movie, you know, like where he's training the younger racer and that. That was really good too. But
whenever I think now of racing movies, I think about the way Andre over at Midnight's Edge describes it: man drive car fast movie.
here's what I find with racing movies, and this, I don't know if this goes with all sports movies, but I feel that when they're put in charge of making a racing movie, they're going to do their best to be accurate to the physics, to the sport, to the rules, to the spirit of this very expensive license they pay to make this movie.
Yeah.
And unlike when they do something that's like DC or Marvel related, where they just pick what they want and ignore the rest, they don't treat it with the respect. Whereas I feel if they pick something like a race movie, they're going to at least treat the subject matter with respect. So even though I'm not an F1 fan, I can go see an F1 movie and realize that it's not going to be condescending to the audience, whether they're F1 fan or not. Yes. So yeah, that's where it is. Speaking of companies not giving the audience what they wanted, I have a question. I should have looked this up before the stream. Can you look this up for me? Do you have Google open, or maybe I can do it real quick?
Yeah. What do you want?
Was Bob Iger in charge of Disney when Tron Legacy came out? Was he behind that? Was he a producer on that? Find out for me. I'll start reading the article.
Okay.
Because it ties into what I was saying here. Okay, I don't care about one battle after that. Okay, Tron in big trouble with 35 to 37 million opening. That's not good. Disney's.
I can tell you that he wasn't a producer on it. Let me find out.
Okay.
Tron Legacy was 2010. When did Bob Iger take over?
Find out, because I'm curious about this. Because that actually would make sense. He would throw Tron under the bus because he was not the one. He wasn't around when he wasn't.
Iger was named president of Disney in 2000. So yeah, he'd have been.
No, this is his baby. Then this makes even less sense to me. Okay, Disney's reboot of Tron Ares is in trouble at the Misc box office, taking in $14.3 million on Friday for a scaled-back estimated opening of 35 million to 37 million. While it will still win the weekend, it's coming in well below expectations. Have you seen advertising from Disney saying it's the #1 movie in the world?
I haven't been paying attention to any of their advertising.
They're acting like they had a hit. We know they didn't have a hit because they're trying to get as much money. Yeah,
absolutely.
Friday's gross included 4.8 million in previews and both Thursday showings and early access screenings on Wednesday. Heading into the weekend, the big budget event pick had been tracking to open at 40 million to 45 million. At 1.50 million was even a possibility against a hefty net production of 180 million before marketing. So that's before marketing. The threequel opens 15 years after Tron Legacy debuted in theaters to 44 million and was shepherded by former Disney exec Sean Bailey when serving as head of Disney's live-action studio. It remains to be seen whether audience scores can make up for decidedly mixed reviews. Its current critics score on Rotten Tomatoes of 57%, while the audience ranking is much better at 86%. Norwegian Disney vet Joachim Roning directs the third film in the storied sci-fi franchise, which stars Jared Leto as the eponymous program Ares, Greta Lee as Eve Kim, CEO of Encom, the tech corporation,
otherwise known as Girl Boss,
and Evan Peters as baddie Julian Dillinger, who I guess is the grandson of the original Dillinger, as opposed to the son that was supposed to be played by Cillian Murphy, who they were setting up as the villain for the third movie, which we never got to see.
Yeah.
The Pix net production budget is at least around $180 million. Okay, so I don't know if you watched Nerd Cookie's latest video on the Tron box office disaster.
I actually haven't yet, but I
Okay.
absolutely will be. Yes.
Okay, I don't understand any of this. For starters, I think Tron, the original Tron, the early 1980s movie, will always be a classic science fiction movie.
Sure.
People will be watching it for a long time. I think Disney has destroyed what they set up in Legacy. I think the whole thing is now completely collapsed. This is no longer going to be any kind of series or franchise. I think they've completely ruined it. And what I don't understand is this is Disney kind of destroying their own baby, because this isn't something that they bought like from
Right. This was
Lucasfilm.
Disney from the beginning. Yes.
And Legacy was modern Disney. That's what I thought. I
Right.
mean, a few years
Right.
later they're buying Star Wars, but I felt that this was their own thing. And
Yep.
then they wanted to ignore Legacy and try to get another mythical new audience, which didn't exist, and nobody went to see
Right.
this movie, and here we are. So I don't understand it. And Tron's gone. I don't even know there's any point talking about Tron anymore. I think it's done. I have been hitting the skip button every time the new Tron trailer comes up.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
I'll say this: when that original trailer for the new one debuted, I was trying to be hopeful. I'm like, okay, maybe this will be like a side thing, and they'll surprise us at the end with Sam and Cora, and then we can get the true Tron 3 we're waiting for.
That's what Nerd Cookies was hoping for too, and then it was just no luck.
Because I was shocked they were even doing another Tron movie, because I thought they hated Tron. I mean, I
think they just hate making money. They hate success. They certainly hate the fans.
I don't get it. With Silicon Valley being so involved with studios now, you'd figure they'd want to make a good Tron movie, because isn't their thing. But now I'm thinking, is Silicon Valley even interested in doing stuff romanticizing computers these days? I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if there's anything left to say about Tron. I think they picked the wrong lead. Though
That's
apparently
for sure.
he's going to be in the new He-Man movie, though. Jared Leto.
Here's the thing about
He's playing
Jared Leto,
Skeletor.
though.
He's Skeletor.
Well, that actually is probably not the worst casting.
Yes.
Here's the thing about Jared Leto. Like him or not, he was the driving force behind this movie. He was executive producer on this. A lot of his money went into it. He's the one who made this movie happen. So yes, you can blame him for the fact that the movie sucks, but
I blame the director and the writers more than anything. He was going to be, I think, in a version where he was going to be the antagonist, and I assumed that Sam and Cora and maybe the original Tron would have been back as the heroes.
A lot of people have said that it really does look like all the elements of an earlier film were there, where
like he would have been an agent of the Master Control Program or something, you know.
Yeah, and Girl Boss was the Sam role that they rewrote. And it would have been a lot better to have Jared Leto as the villain, because you want a good villain character, right?
Disney doesn't know how to do villains anymore.
Well, because they think the villain is the hero. And actually, you know what you need to do is check out Retro Blasting's last video about it's a retrospective on Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
And how, as much as he liked it, there were some tweaks he would have made that would have made it so much better, that would have set up Tron to be the hero, sacrificing himself at the end.
Yeah.
And the whole thing telling Clue, you forget I fight for the users. You know?
Now I felt that, again, I don't want to keep bringing up Tron Uprising, because, of course...
Of course you do, because it was the better movie.
Well, no, Tron Uprising was a limited series, but I felt Tron Uprising did flesh out that world better, and now I'm understanding things. Like, you learn a lot more of what happened with the ISOs. Like, you only get a brief scene in Legacy, but no, they explained that the ISOs showed up. And it was almost like a racial tension thing, where the other programs didn't like them and stuff, and it was this... And it was... and then there's like a conspiracy because then suddenly like some regular programs get derez from the crowd of angry ISOs, but you don't know if it was an ISO that threw the killing disc or if it was someone in the ISO crowd pretending to be one to make the regular programs angrier at them. Do you understand? It was this whole big conspiracy, and it was fascinating. And
that just sounds like really good. Now that's how you get a topical story, like you said, a racially charged story, but making it a compelling story that people care about.
Yeah.
Instead of just preaching at us.
Sure. And I love the original Tron as well. I like both that and Legacy, but unfortunately I feel Tron stands on its own, where Legacy really needed a sequel, really needed follow through, and now it's always going to be hanging forever. And I'm just fed up with this nonsense. I'm tired of them trying to set up series and franchises, and there's never any follow through. And it's not just Disney that does this; it's other studios too. I'm just fed up with it. The early rumors are Leto's character was supposed to be the villain, hunting salmon core in the real world, and that would have been a movie I would have wanted to see.
Yeah.
And that's not the movie we got. And the reason Disney can't write a good villain is because they want to make their own version of Darth Vader clone. It sucks. Here's the thing. Disney used to be, in my opinion, Disney villains were some of the best in the world, especially in their animated movies. I think the last great one I saw was, was it Dr. Vesuvier from Princess and the Bride? He was really good. And
Princess and the Frog.
Did I say Princess and the Bride?
Yes, you did.
Okay, my mind's turning to Swiss cheese. Okay, it's one of those weeks. All right, let's move on to anything left to say about Tron before I go? I mean, I think this is the last I'm going to talk about Tron on here for a long time. So, any final words? Because it's
nothing more to say.
Kind of a dead franchise now. It's done, and it's Disney, and it's all on Disney.
It is.
I don't understand this. I don't, and
I'm with you.
You know, there was stuff behind the scenes that'll come out later on, so maybe I'll report on it then.
We'll see. Yeah.
We just have 2 Baldwin articles. I just picked a picture of him. Let's just go through these. This was Alec Baldwin in the news again. Alec Baldwin speaks out after Hamptons car crash.
Yeah.
He had to be in the Hamptons. That's where the rich people go. Just saying.
Right.
Disney's reboot of. Oh, sorry. Wait.
No.
Oh, darn it! I posted the same thing again. Let me go to the link. I don't know why I did that. All right. Newsweek. Give me a moment. Apologies.
You're a boomer.
Okay. Well, no need for read mode.
Be a boomer now.
Alec Baldwin, 67, and his younger brother Stephen Baldwin, 59, were involved in a car accident in East Hampton, New York, on Monday. Newsweek reached out to the Baldwin representatives for comment on Tuesday via email outside their regular working hours. Alec Baldwin was one of America's most prominent actors. The car accident involving the siblings coincides with a high-profile period in the 30 Rock actor's personal and professional life. According to Baldwin's own Instagram video posted on October 15th, he had been driving his wife, Hilaria Baldwin's Range Rover, with Stephen Baldwin as a passenger when he said a large garbage truck cut them off. To avoid hitting him, I hit a tree. I hit a big fat tree and crushed my car. My wife's car. I crushed my wife's car. I feel bad about that, the 3-time Emmy Award winner said. That's all fine, and I'm fine, and my brother is fine. Emergency responders from East Hampton Police Department attended the scene. Photos and videos footage published by TMZ show the white Range Rover with significant front-end damage, and both Baldwin speaking with the police. No injuries were reported. In a social media message, Baldwin thanked first responders, specifically mentioning Officer Gerken, who assisted him on the site. Thank you to the East Hampton Police Department, the town police department, for coming to my aid, Baldwin said before noting that Gerken is a lovely guy. Well, it's nice and complimenting police for a change.
Exactly.
So this is the original story. So first off, I think that truck driver should be ashamed of himself, and frankly needs to be reprimanded, maybe even terminated from his job for his
absolutely. Oh, wait a minute.
I don't understand. So this is the follow-up article. Hold on. Alec Baldwin's car crash claims unravel after shocking video leak. Now, this is from Yahoo, but it's from a different site. I tried finding the original.
So, as we go into this, let me just say, at this point, guys, you should kind of understand, if Alec Baldwin makes a statement, assume it's a lie. At this point, you just assume it's a lie, because he's a friggin' liar.
Alec Baldwin's version of his car crash in Hamptons is falling apart after shocking new footage surfaced. It seems to tell a completely different story. The 67-year-old actor claimed he was forced off the road by a huge garbage truck, but the leaked video paints another picture. What started as a simple car accident has now turned into another controversy for the Beetlejuice star, leaving fans and police questioning what really happened that day. A new video shared by Newsmax appears to completely contradicted Baldwin's claims about the Hamptons crash. The footage filmed from inside the garbage truck he blamed shows the truck turning safely at a junction with no sign of cutting him off. Moments later, Baldwin's Range Rover can be seen on the right side of the road before suddenly veering off and slamming into a tree. The clip shows no obstacles or traffic issues that could have forced Baldwin to swerve. According to Newsmax, there was no sign the truck had forced Baldwin out of his lane or any obstruction that required
anyone
him to
who's
leave
ever
it.
been behind a wheel, who has ever done any kind of driving, would look, because I saw the footage. It was Culture Casino played it, and I'm watching it. I'm like, yeah, it was very clear to me what happened. It turned in, but it caused him to slow down. That's not cutting him off. He was going too fast for conditions. Again, it was raining, right? He was driving too fast, but he pulled out in what should have been enough time for him to slow down. He didn't want to slow down, and he tried to pass on the right. But there was no place to pass on the right because it was a shoulder. And because he was on the shoulder, he started to skid, and he ran into a tree.
So you're saying Alec Baldwin doesn't have his facts straight?
I'm saying he friggin' lied.
So you're telling me I drive better than Alec Baldwin and I don't even have a license?
Actually, anyone who doesn't drive would drive better than Alec Baldwin, yes.
I have a question.
Okay.
I keep thinking back to a recent trial or something he had about mishandling things and his own versions of events, and I'm starting to wonder if I should be questioning those versions of events based on the fact that he lied about this.
Look,
The truck driver was obeying the laws. I don't understand.
Everybody who knew ballistics knew he was full of crap and that he was lying. But, you know, we also know that there's a two-tiered justice system where if you have friends in Hollywood,
to be fair, the prosecution apparently screwed something up. That's what got it thrown out.
Okay, well, there's incompetence too.
That's what they said happened, at least, unless maybe somebody did that on purpose. I don't know. Detectives said the main causes were that Hollywood's icon reaction to another uninvolved vehicle in the slippery, wet road conditions caused by heavy rain from the nor'easter storm. Okay, so anyway, so he's wrong. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, look, you know, honestly, what I was going to say is, look, I understand not incriminating yourself, but the way you don't incriminate yourself is to shut the F up. Quit talking.
You know, it's actually not a crime to have a car accident, like to slip on a wet road and hit a tree. Stuff like that
But
happens.
he is such a narcissist. He insists on everyone believing that he's the best.
I mean, people get into car accidents, and luckily no one was hurt. Okay, so that's it, and it shouldn't be. That's what you leave it at. But I think he has such an ego that he has to make up the story about being cut off.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Yes, that's it exactly.
This is why. That's why we're asking about where having to wear my level 3 body armor for this article. No, not for this article. For this article. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You know, I get what you're saying because of the firearms thing. Doctor Who producer Jane Tranter hits back at rude writer who said sci-fi series is as dead as we've never known it. Jane Tranter, the executive producer of Doctor Who, has bristled at this. Just the iconic sci-fi series is as dead as we have ever known it. The claim was made by Robert Sherman, who wrote the Christopher Eccleston episode Dalek in 2005. That was a good episode.
Yeah,
and has penned several Doctor Who novels, commenting.
So, in other words, they're establishing his bona fides and saying this guy actually knows how to write. He wrote a good episode, and he's basically saying these people are idiots. And we all know that they're idiots because nobody even wants to pay for these shows anymore.
Yes. Commenting in Doctor Magazine, he argued that Season 15's ambiguous ending when Ncuti go out while regenerating Billy Pepper's Rose Tyler had put full stop on things in a way previous season finales have avoided. The remarks also captured a mood of uncertainty around Doctor Who, with many unanswered questions over whether Disney will continue to co-produce the series. They won't, and if Russell T Davies and Tranter Badwolf will remain involved in the BBC Studios' own show. I need to tell you something. There were plenty of like the real diehard Doctor Who fans that were getting angry when you would say nasty things about the Timeless Child and other things. You know, the ones that were yelling at people who were complaining about this stuff. Even they thought this transformation was stupid. Like even the real stands out there were like, no, this is just dumb and it makes no sense. And it's like, I think finally, maybe at this point, too late, but everyone's finally come around. Oh, thank you, Clue Studio.
Yeah, you are good people, Clue Studio. Thank you so much for the support. He says, "Salute, Troy Netterboomer." I like how he puts it together. Troy Netterboomer Productions. Yes. I like that. That's cool.
Yes. So let me see. Tranter mounted a spirited defense of the Time Lord when confronted with Sherman's quote, "As dead as they're known, that's really rude, actually, and really untrue," Tranter said during an interview with BBC Radio Wales on Friday. "The plans for Doctor Who are really simply this. The BBC and BBC Studios had a partnership with Disney for 26 episodes. We are currently 21 episodes down into that 26-episode run. We have got another 5-episode spin-off series, The War Between Land and Sea, to come." Okay, well, that's not a Doctor Who series.
Right.
That's a spin-off series. At some point after the decisions will be made together with all of us about what future the Doctor Who entails, Tranter said in the interview marking the 10th anniversary of Bad Wolf. "It's a 60-year-old franchise that's been going for 20 years non-stop since we brought it back to life in 2005 when I worked at the BBC. You would expect it to change, wouldn't you? Nothing continues the same always, and it shouldn't continue in the same always." That's not what people are complaining about. They're complaining about the fact that nothing makes sense.
The change is not the problem. It's the fact that it sucks. That's what people have a problem with.
So it will change in some form or another, but the one thing that really clear is that the Doctor will be back, and everyone, including me, including all of us, just has to wait patiently to see when and who. What do you mean, when and who? You already introduced Billie Piper. Is she not the Doctor now?
They have no friggin' clue because they don't even understand how any of this stuff works.
Wait a minute, I thought the Doctor was that gay black guy.
Yes, no, and then they ended with him regenerating into Billie Piper. Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, hello," and then they end it there, and then people are like, "Wait a minute, why?"
Yeah.
Like even the staunchest defenders were just like, "Wait, this doesn't make any sense."
Which is what has them reeling so much, because they're like, "Well, wait a minute. We thought you liked Billie Piper. These were keys we were jangling for you. Why aren't you giddy and happy?"
So when we criticize things, we're not doing it because we hate the franchise. We criticize things, we're trying to prevent things from getting worse in the franchise and hopefully righting the ship. You know, that's what people don't understand, and they call us toxic fans when we do it.
Right.
I just don't understand this. Nothing continues. Okay. Tranter's comments echo those of BBC content chief Katie Phillips, who told the Edinburgh TV Festival in August, "Rest assured, Doctor Who is going nowhere. Disney has been a great partnership."
It's definitely going nowhere. It's not going anywhere. It's not even going into future production.
Who are you gonna partner with?
Yeah, nobody wants to pay for it.
You're not gonna partner with Warner Brothers because they don't have any money.
Okay. Well, true.
The TARDIS is going nowhere. Well, that's the problem. It is going nowhere. The show's been going nowhere. We've been arguing that. Okay. Despite the confidence Doctor Who's future season 15 7-day ratings that suffer, the season averaged 3.2 million viewers over its 8 episodes, which was 500,000 viewers down from Gatwa's first season and 1.7 million down below Joey Whittaker's final outing as the Time Lord. Everything's been slipping.
Yep.
Okay. Any thoughts?
Oh, I've got a lot of thoughts, but none that I should really be voicing.
That was the bi-regenerated Ronnie that got eaten by the giant dinosaur monster Omega or whatever in that was before.
This whole
before Gatwa reversed the polarities and shoved him back. It's stupid.
All of this, you know, they did the same thing with Shooty and what's his name? The Purple Man.
David Tennant.
Yeah. It's like now you've completely screwed up the way regenerations work. First, they made it so okay. Now he's got infinite regenerations because timeless child, and William Hartnell's doctor wasn't even the first doctor anymore, and now not only does he have infinite regenerations, but he can become two people if he wants to, and he could just keep splitting off and splitting off.
Never Doctor Who fan. It's not for me. That's fine, Steven. It was my thing out of the three big science fiction franchises, which were Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars. Doctor Who was my favorite, and I don't even like saying that now because it's like I don't know how it comes back from all the horrible writing decisions they've made in recent years.
It kind of doesn't.
It just doesn't. Sometimes something's just dead. Sometimes you break the toy and you can't fix it again. It's just done. Okay, moving on to our final story of the night. Let's end on a somewhat happy note.
We'll try.
New Back to the Future time machine Lego is set up for pre-order. Lego Speed Champions time machine from Back to the Future. This isn't the first time we've seen a Lego set based on the DeLorean car that Doc modified to travel through time. Lego released one a few years ago, and Walmart has it on sale for $170. I don't. This throw of red Lego pricing. I never know, is that cheap or is that more expensive now because it's out of print? I don't know. But it's a much bigger, more elaborate set with nearly 2,000 pieces. Yeah, that's the expensive one. Okay, so check out our WeBuild article on it. If you're not willing to drop nearly $200 on 80s nostalgia, this upcoming one hit the sweet spot at only $27.99. It has a number of cool features straight out of Back to the Future movie trilogy. You can build it in standard car form with lightning rod and memorable out of time. Okay, out of time California license plate from the first movie. Okay. Then you can rebuild it in its flying form from the second movie with Mr. Fusion, power source, an orange license plate, and sideways wheels. Both modes feature the flux capacitor and time calculator.
Right.
And Lego could hardly release Back to the Future set without including minifigures of the two main characters. You get an adorable little version of Marty McFly, complete with his red vest, and Doc Brown with all of his weird little gadgets adorning his white lab coat. It's a great looking set overall, and I'm surprised how affordable it is. It's actually like a simplified version of the Time Machine is better than the previous release, which cost nearly 8 times more. The smaller form factor also fits the minifigures, so you can place both of them in the cockpit and get up to the speed of 88 miles per hour and send them, well, you know. This is kind of neat.
Yeah, it is.
They're actually doing a lot of vehicles lately. They did the Aston Martin a few years ago for James Bond. It had the Daniel Craig Bond with it.
And of course, there's a wonderful video up on
Retro Blasting where he made it so that it was the Timothy Dalton Bond in there.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yep.
And they're also coming out with with inexpensive Batmobiles. Well, not inexpensive, like $30, but they're based on the Batmobiles they haven't done. So they're the three most they're the three Batmobiles I don't want. Here they are: the Batman and Robin Batmobile with the George Clooney Batman, or Lego versus the George Clooney Batman. Yeah. Then there's the Batmobile from Batman versus Superman with the Batfleck, and then there's the one from the Robert Pattinson movie.
Right.
Which doesn't really look like a Batmobile, but be fair, that's probably what they were going for in that movie. It was just, he just souped up a car in that because he was just starting out in his first year. In fact, to be fair, on Batman the Animated Series, when they did a flashback before he had the new Batmobile, his original car was just not good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a wonderful episode of Batman the Animated Series where you got introduced to the mechanic that designed the Batmobile. Or actually, he was actually a car designer for a major automobile company, but he blew the whistle when they were going to release cars with defective brakes or something, right? And
yikes!
And but because of that, the cars got recalled. But then he got a reputation in the industry as a whistleblower. No one would hire him, even though he saved lives by making sure that didn't happen. So then Batman shows up one day and says, "Can you fix my car?" And then suddenly he just got hired to work on the car in secret with his daughter. His daughter was also a mechanic, and they, you know, he's the one that designed the Batmobile, and he said he paid me real good too. So I guess he made like the salary would have made working for the auto companies, So it was interesting. So it was an interesting episode, and the plot of the episode was the Penguin finds out he's the guy that makes the Batmobile, so he forces him to do things to the Batmobile so the Penguin can control it with a remote control, similar to Batman Returns.
Yeah.
You understand? Yes.
Exactly.
But it was in the version. I like the Lego version. It doesn't look bad. I think $27.99. That's a good price. It's probably going to include stickers instead of prints, though. I prefer prints on my bricks, but I don't know. At $27, I might pick it up just for that Doc Brown, right?
I mean, yeah, exactly. I know. Actually, I've heard that people that are into these Legos, some of them are just all about collecting the figures, the minifigures.
The minifigures are neat. They've done a lot of ones. They did a Doctor Who set years ago too, and it was it actually had it had the TARDIS. It had like the TARDIS console on the inside. I think it also had the outside with the regular police call box. I think it also featured a Dalek and a Cyberman. It featured Jenna Coleman's character in it, the Impossible Girl.
Of course, it did.
Well, because she was the current companion at the time,
Right.
and then it had both the Matt Smith. And then you could do a regeneration into Eccleston, not into. I'm sorry, not
I
Eccleston.
like the Impossible Girl.
They just overdid her too long. That was the problem. She became
Capaldi.
she became beyond impossible. She became almost insufferable.
You could turn her. You could turn Matt Smith into Capaldi by doing a regeneration thing, because they included both heads or something in there. So that was kind of neat. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just saying. Okay, but yeah, there we go. That's the speed, and I guess that's it. That does it for Geeky Geezers this week. But be sure to tune in. I believe Deleted Scenes is currently starting his reserved seats, and you should be moved over there in a minute. I'm just going to go over real quick what we're doing this week. Tomorrow night we will be Monday Night at the Movies with Troy. You can Netter. You can check that out if you're a member of their channel. And what movie are you doing again?
Well, I had 4 movies up, and they decided we will be watching Halloween from 1978. So
Happy Halloween.
no, not that one.
That's a good one, though. I like that one.
First one.
Troy,
Yeah.
I hope you get a Lego Back to the Future. You know what? They should do the time machine train from Back to the Future as a Lego set. That would kick butt.
Right.
So anyway, Tuesday we'll be on Sparkwood and 21 with Deleted Scenes. It will be the what do you call it? The
second half of On the Air.
Yes, I do like that show.
In fact, these are the episodes that if you watched it when it originally aired,
you never got to see them.
You never got to see because they didn't air here in the United States.
And then you'll have the Blake 7 rewatch, right? After that.
Netter's favorite episode called Orbit.
Cool.
We'll find out exactly how much Villa weighs.
Very cool.
Kilos.
Yep.
And then we move on to Thursday. Are you doing anything Wednesday?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Playing D&D. Okay, I got you.
Possibly, hopefully.
And then Thursday on Netter's Network, are you doing anything special?
Yes, my special guest will be the Horror Cat Dad.
There you go.
Excellent.
Who was here in the chat. Yeah.
Excellent. And then Friday, do turn into Last Call with Troy Pacelli. We will be having a special presentation on maybe some of the spooky things that have been happening this year in the news. We're going to do some research and see what we can come up with, all right? But I don't want to spoil too much.
Yeah. There's been some recent horror news. So
and be sure to tune in
to find out about them.
Great. And be sure to tune in every weekday at 12 Central for Liquid Lunch with Troy Pacelli, where I'm sure tomorrow you will have a musing, right?
Yes, I don't know what I'll be musing about, but it'll be whatever's on my mind that I want to bounce off of all of you guys.
Gotcha. And then that'll bring us to Saturday stream. What are you doing Saturday?
Saturday we are on
Big Al's channel.
Big Al's, and it's I remember it was a Stephen King movie. Silver Bullet.
Oh yeah, okay, that's a good one. Goes with the werewolf thing that we did. Of course, that didn't make our list, but yeah, I know it's a favorite. And then that'll bring us back to Sunday. Tune in after Deleted Scenes Unscripted for our Geeky Geezers next week, and who knows, maybe we'll have some more stories There was something we talked about tonight. I might bring up again that next week because we didn't have time to cover it, but I forgot what that was. So never mind. Anyway, you'll have a good week, and maybe I'll mention the Goonies Lego set. I'll find something on that. All right. Y'all have a good week, and you should be redirected if you're on Troy and Others' channel to Unscripted, right? Or maybe
Absolutely,
okay,
absolutely. Right. And Samuel Procter, no, we didn't get to the Pendragon Cycle trailer today.
Oh, well, maybe next week. We'll look for that maybe for next week. Okay.
Yeah. All right, everyone, you take care and have a good one. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Where's that outro? There we are.